Hey everybody, welcome to the Bourbon Battalion. This is Bobby, and I am pumped for this week. Let's see who's all in here. Daniel, what's up, brother? Marty, Whiskey Nose. Got Rob M. Sugar Kitty, what's up, Kitty? Man, I'll tell you what, I'm excited to do a throwback Blendsday, right? It's kind of like a fun thing. I just love doing it. And I know I have the Booker's Hall coming up soon. So with the Booker's Hall coming up, I was like, hey, I'm just going to go back to some of the stuff I really love to do. And that happens to be blending stuff. What's up, Bourbon from I-78 in Pennsylvania on his way to the weekend. What's up, Sherry? Glad you could jump in. Oh, man, I'm so excited. I feel like a kid on his way to Grandma's house for Christmas evening, and there happened to be a plane go over that looked like Rudolph. That's what I feel about this weekend. I'm just telling you. It is going to be something epic. So got something really cool today. Thanks to the Women of Whiskey. Send me my nice little coaster to add to my bar and some nice little samples. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate it. So I was sitting there thinking, as I was cracking a bottle with someone the other day that they hadn't cracked their bottle. And, you know, one of my favorite ryes is Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. I love it. What's up, Adam? Cheers, buddy. I love it. I love everything about it. And so we cracked it with someone that hadn't cracked theirs and was talking about it. And I was like, hey, let it open up. And we went through this and this and this. And then, he said, hey, try this. Well, we did it kind of in a reverse order, right? Because the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof Rye, it's a hitter. It's 112.2. And what we had was a really good rye. However, it's a lower proof. You're talking about 94. And it's a little bit different. So, Daniel H., yeah, I have the Rare Breed Rye poured right now. So if you're curious to be what's going to happen tonight, so the three ryes we're going to deal with Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. The Single Barrel Rye, this happens to be a store pick. This is going to be our entry level rye. Then we're going to immediately jump. And from there, we are going to jump to the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye, right? 112.2. And then I was like, well, you got to finish something. We need something to finish it with. So, Angel's Envy, finished rye, and this one happens to be finished in Caribbean rum casks. So we're going to go through, we're going to try them all three and on their own, sample them, and then we're going to blend them because I have to figure out of the three, what is my base level that I'm going to add to get to a flavor. So I'll do that in a second since I got on. Hopefully, when am I hitting North Carolina? Oh, sometime tomorrow on the way through. Let's see. I plan on leaving early in the morning. So when I leave early in the morning, I'm not for sure. What's up, Jenny? Jenny Blackwood is in here. Bourbon, Marty. Yeah, so I got my Makers 101, Brolin Brothers. And we can talk about that. I love talking about blends. And it's, I understand why someone would say, hey, why, if you, I love Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye on its own. It's a hitter to me. I enjoy it. I can understand why someone wouldn't like it. But there are things I like, a lot of everything about it. However, that doesn't mean I wouldn't blend it to change the profile, to make it better or give it a different complexity. And that's what I really enjoy is the idea of taking something and say, listen, this is good on its own, but I want to spruce it up. Whether I go through and do something with a cigar or I just do it on its own, maybe I want to proof it down or proof it up, usually proof it up. So Marty, I'll let you know. I'll let you know when and where I think I'm going to be en route. And as I go through North Carolina on the way down, if I hit North Carolina, I'll have to look at the map and I'll shoot you a message regardless. Bourbon Battalion does love Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. That is for sure. And that looks like the C920, right? C920, I liked it. Yep. So while we're talking like that stuff, I can tell you there's going to be, this weekend's going to be so good. So good. Can't even tell you how excited I am. So having said that, I need to start pouring some stuff. So I already got my cap ready. So I'm going to start with the single barrel Jack Daniel's rye. Let's see. Maker's 101, Bowman Brothers, and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I always think that it's the most important to start with the lowest proof. I always start with the lowest proof. Now, that doesn't mean my next one, it goes in proof order, because it depends on if I'm finishing. So like when you're talking about Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and you're talking about Maker's 101, you're adding that big, huge, amazing. No, you know what? The Gunny had a board meeting tonight, so I couldn't do the Poor Man Pappy blend tonight, but I have the recipes. I will do a Poor Man's Pappy blend, but when I do it, it'll be like a three. There's 3 different blends we'll do, and then we'll compare them all. But I need the Gunny to be here with me present to do it, and he had a board meeting that he couldn't get out of. So we will get back to it, Ben, I promise. I've been hitting Harrisburg, then way past my area near the border. Yeah, nice. So let's pour this rye. And Kitty, I always start with a low proof to figure out what my base is going to be. So the things I do know is take the way from the notes, right? I know that this is a rye, and I know it's a Jack Daniel's process, so I have an idea of what I know it's going to taste like. But the important thing is always going through and doing a true acclimation. And everything changes when you do that, but it's a patience thing. It's a real big patience thing. You got to take your time and figure it out. So when I say fully acclimated, I was explaining this to someone today, and I thought that it made a lot of sense. So if someone's ever had a cigar or a cigarette or anything like that, or smoked anything, I take, for example, like a cigar or a cigarette. So if I'm smoking my favorite cigar, man, it's got a certain flavor and a certain appeal that I really enjoy. But on the off chance that I happen to take a really nice drag of my cigar and cough, and then boom, it blasts up through my nose, totally different. I don't enjoy it coming out my nose. People that French inhale, yeah, not me. But it's different, right? So the same thing happens to me when I sit there and do really good tastings where I'm taking the time to slowly drink and make sure I get that aromatics on that finish that go down there, right? And it's evaporating just like it would be in your glass. It's coming back up. So it's starting to blow back up through your nasal cavity. After a little bit of time, take some time, walk away from it, talk, do whatever, and you come back to it, it smells totally different. It's amazingly different. And the taste will be amazingly different. So that's always a certain thing you got to do on your own. Spend the time doing that. I'm just saying, Marty, I may be bringing some stuff. I ain't going to say anything more than that, but there's going to be some stuff there. So, like this guy on the nose, it smells a little light. I know it's a rye, so therefore I know that I'm looking for certain things, and I'm catching them, but really slight, not as predominant as I normally would be, right? There is a hint of like fresh spearmint, the leaf by the creek bed. But there's still some like really, good smooth notes. I mean, you get a little mapling, but you would expect that with Jack Daniel's. But overall, it's not pitchy. I don't feel it like up in the top of my nasal cavity where it like, ooh, that's really high when you smell something that's really like high alcohol or something. I don't get that. So it's just, and it smells like a nice drinker. And it is. And what's really nice about it, right, is that's my first sip. You know what? I got some mouthfeels. I got some decent mouthfeels on that. The back end is definitely spearmint gum. I mean, I feel like I just met the Double Mint twins and they gave me some gum. But I got a nice mouthfeel. It came in smooth and nice with a nice sweetness to it. It opened up to a little bit of a spice bomb in the middle. And trying to figure out what that other note is. That time on the very front end, I got like a weird flat Coke, like a flat Diet Coke. That ain't bad. But, you know, if you're just sitting there hitting this is a nice drinking rye. I'm perfectly happy drinking this by itself. There's nothing about it that has me put off about it. And, you know, I'll be honest with you. In the reverse order, this tasted like nothing compared to the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Now, I drank this before, and I've drank it on my feeds and everybody else's feeds as well. So, but yeah, really nice, really enjoyable. So, definitely smoothing out a little bit and getting some of the stuff that I would not only expect, but enjoy on its own. So I'm kind of figuring out my base, whether this is going to be my base or not. And it might be. It might end up being my base. So let me grab another glass. And surprisingly enough, I'm going to neck pour this because I don't care. We're going to blend it anyway. So, and I'm familiar with Angel's Envy finished rye anyway. Hey, nice cork. So let's pour some Angel's Envy finished rye. This guy is 100 proof. And like I said, you know, it's done in Caribbean or Caribbean rum cask, whichever way you like to say Caribbean. Holy monkey's uncle. What the? Man, I've been away from this for way too long. Good night. That smells amazing. Whew. Wow, that is straight maple syrup. I'm telling you right now, and that's what I thought like this. I was like, why does that smell like maple? Like I have maple on my hands. That smells like maple syrup. I don't know about anybody else, but good Lord. That is insane. It is so predominantly maple. I mean, just like straight maple. I got to take some time and let that. There's no way there's got to be nothing more than maple. Maybe because it's just off the neck. So I know what Kitty's doing, right? Kitty's got something going to blend. And that's what you have to do. You have to go through and figure out your base. What's everybody else drinking tonight? Is there anybody else drinking something, blending something? Tell me what you guys are doing. Let me go in here, and I'm going to throw a link up here. So just in case someone decides they want to jump on, I'm perfectly happy with someone jumping on. That doesn't bother me. So Control V. I'm a multitasking, talking person. So, man, that is still really maple. Man, I get it on this side way more than I do the other. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should do that while we're on here, Daniel. Once I'm done with this blend, I'll crack that. I get a little bit more of like a weird, like an allspice. Maybe an allspice cinnamon powder kind of concoction. There's a weird note besides cinnamon. On this side, it is just straight maple. Sipping on my Infinity bottle. I highly recommend Infinity bottles. But take your time. Don't just let it be like, oh, you know, I got a little bit in this. I'll just dash it. So the most important things to do when you're talking about Infinity bottles, have a thought process to which one to do and take notes of what you did. because there's just a chance that you might find you made something amazing and you didn't take notes, and now you're like all pissed off like man's gun anywhere. DC, what's up? Just popped an old Kirk 6-year. No way. 129 proof single barrel. Awesome. I'm telling you what, this smells like I have pancakes that are drenched in syrup and they've been sitting there for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. You can't even see the syrup no more. But if you pick up the pancake, it's just like that. It's that. It's exactly what it smells like. The only thing I know in my mind right now that smells more maple than this is Knob Creek maple. Well, that's crazy. I don't remember that. But I haven't had Angel's Envy finished rye in a couple years. Man. There's no way that can be my base. It would be too sweet. Too sweet. All right. Let's go to a stemmed one because, let's face it, I need to do some dishes. And I ain't doing anything before I leave in the morning to go down south. What is the most underrated diet soda in the market? You guys are probably talking about Diet Mountain Dew. I'm sure of it. Okay, so let's pour the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, which is the rye. So the Wild Turkey Rare Breed rye. This is amazing. Amazing. Whoa, yeah, totally different. You know, I get this weird, there's predominantly oatmeal, but I feel like have you ever had that peaches and cream oatmeal? You know, they have the oatmeal that's either instant, you know, you just add the hot water. This kind of is like that peaches and cream oatmeal. Hey, listen, they talk funny, so they're from the South. You guys are just from like really far south. You're like almost like at the very end of most all existence. Jenny just poured the Elijah Craig single barrel. That's a good drink. It's hard to go wrong. Elijah Craig is... Oh, wait, that's Elijah Craig small batch. Ugh, that's what I meant to say. Elijah Craig small batch. And that's 94. That's a hitter. I mean, who doesn't have that on their bar? They do talk funny. They don't sweep the floor. They vacuum. And there's like a peach note in here, a cherry note, a hint of mint, but not much. And when I mean mint, it's more of like gummy mint. DC, my wife would absolutely agree with you. She loves Cheerwine. We have Old Carolina barbecue place around here, and they have Cheerwine in there. So we end up there so she can get it. They do have a single barrel, but I think she meant small batch. Because I usually know what she gets and what she don't get because she'll ask me. And so I try to help guide her because she's doing her own whiskey journey. So Jenny is someone I've known for years and years and years. And we went to high school together, and she is getting into the bourbon whiskey world. And so it's super impressive how much her palate has advanced so fast and how much she enjoys it. So that makes me happy. Yeah, this is so nice. Yeah, really nice taste on the front of the palate. It comes in moderately sweet, not overly sweet. Mid palate is just opens up with a lot of spice, a lot of fruit, more of like I said earlier, like there's peaches in there, there's oatmeal, maybe a light cream with a little bit of mint. I'm not getting a predominant mint. Now, maybe that's because the maple and the other one just trumped it, but I'm telling you what, that is such a good drinker, man. I love Elijah Craig, and I love Wild Turkey Rare Breed. It is so good. So let me throw this up here so I can see what's going on. I'm telling you what, my next investment I'm going to do when I get enough stuff to do it is I'm putting up secondary screens so I can actually see what the heck's going on in the YouTube part of it, because I don't ever see that, right? So you have to bring it up on a secondary screen and look at it and see what's going on in there. You don't even know how many people are in or nothing when you're over here. So perfect. Yeah, so put that over there in my Booker's wall. I literally had someone come in today and they said, why is your whole one side of your bar nothing but a line of Bookers? And I said, well, I'm getting ready to do a Booker's haul. And they're like, that's a lot of Bookers. And I was like, yeah, it is. It is a Booker's haul. So, and I'll have more by the time I come back from this weekend. So that's exciting. Okay. So I've got it figured out what needs to be what. And I know for the people that are overly OCD, they're going to stress out because I don't actually measure. I just kind of measure it by eye. I literally just had some pancake syrup that had a dash of alcohol in it. That is crazy. Is anybody in here? Ben. You're killing me, Ben. You're killing me. Is anybody in here drinking the Angel's Envy finished rye, finished in the Caribbean rum casks? If so, I want to hear about. Are you getting as much maple on this as I am? It's insane. I don't remember it being like that. See, the Jack Daniel's like, oh, hey, I got a little maple in me. It's like someone didn't have enough maple left in the little syrup thing to put on your pancakes. So you just had to make do. All right, so this is my Jack Daniel's glass, the one that says Wild Turkey, which is like ironic and funny. So that's going to be my base. The Jack's got to be my base. So let's pour it like something that we can do like a 2-to-1 there. So we're going to do a hefty pour, right? So let's look at this. And I would say that I have in there almost 2 fingers. And then I'm going to throw the Angel's Envy. I'm going to throw a finger of Angel's Envy in there. And then I'm going to throw a finger of the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof Rye. And that looks beautiful. Beautiful. So, as I always do, I want to blend it and marry it. So I'm going to take my big hitter here and I'm just going to pour it. I'm going to pour it again. Let it mix up a little bit. And then I'm going to let it breathe. So, diet soda, yuck. Regular soda, I don't even care for that, to be honest with you. I prefer like bourbon and water and coffee. Black coffee, nothing added. Yeah. That makes sense, though. I mean, so, the Maker's Mark 101, you're talking about that weeded 101. And, it's not a banger, but it's not horrible either. So, and then you put that together, but you would expect to have some heavy wood notes, right? That tannic or that tannins and stuff like that you get from that wood. But that, I'm telling you right now, that ACB is going to definitely do some stuff with it, because what you're talking about is you're adding in this like predominantly strong, high proof bourbon that is just going to come in and it's going to mix really good, because you're it's going to, there's no way around it. It's going to end up being, I wouldn't say sweet, but a little bit sweeter, because, you're already getting the sweetness from the wheat, and now you're taking that. So, yeah. So, not planning a live at Jan's More Impossible private hang. Shoot me an email after if you want an invite, buddy. Adam, are you guys going on after the mash tonight? Is Stanley not going out? Alex B. Anonymous. Good evening, young man. Well, Alex B. Anonymous, good evening to you. Yes, small batch. I love it when someone says good evening, young man to me. So what are some cool things? Man, my last 2 days have been amazing. So I got to go down and talk to my Magnolia person out of Columbus. Magnolia makes they do bourbon finishing with MGP, well, with Indiana juice. So I've talked about them before. They have a Magnolia wheated bourbon that is spectacular. And there's also they make a bottled and bond rye. So in the fall, late in the fall, they're actually going to break out their uncut, unfiltered. So it's Indiana finished right outside of Columbus. So about an hour from me. So I went down and talked to Ed, and there'll be eventually, here before too long, there'll be some, me and Ed will get on here and we'll talk about what they're doing with Magnolia, the story behind it. We're going to have a really nice session where it's me talking to Ed directly, the owner, about his vision of what he wants it to be and what he's seeing with it. But I can tell you right now, what they're doing with it is really good. It's really good. They're uncut, unfiltered. I think it's going to drop at, I know the proof if I have my phone. Did I put my phone somewhere? I don't know where I put my phone. I'll let you know. It's not a high proof. I think it's like 113 or 118, something like that. So I don't want to misquote it. It's on my phone, but I don't know. I thought I just had my phone here a second. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at it on YouTube. Losing my mind. Yeah, the Makers 101 to sweeten it up, and some to keep the proof. Yeah, and that's exactly what you have to do. You have to play with portions. Play with portions for sure. So let me look at this and see if I can tell you. I know I got a picture of it because I saved it somewhere in here. Or at least I know I sent it to someone, so I can at least look at that. So yeah, but what they're doing is they're going to drop their overall uncut, unfiltered bottles. I think it's in the fall. Why am I not seeing it anywhere? I don't know. It must have been an email. I ain't going to waste time on it. I will get back with you. But Magnolia is doing great things. It's an old-timey label that looks beautiful. Everything about it. And they're incredibly transparent, which I enjoy like crazy. They don't try to hide anything. They say where it's distilled at, where it's finished at. They tell you an age statement. They let you know that it's 4+ years or whatever. So I know the uncut, unfiltered is 4+ years. The bottled and bond is obviously bottled and bond. And so they're really transparent of what they're doing, which I think is fantastic. It says volumes about what they're doing with their product. And they're not trying to hide anything. They're straight up there. They're honest. And I like that. So I really enjoy it. You're going to see if you can, continue jumping in here and that stuff. And, I'm going to open up to maybe like some slight Q&A where we're talking. You guys can send questions. I'll have a secondary screen. and we can sit there and talk to him about what he's doing, what his plan is. I know he's starting to distributions moving up a little bit. He's picked up his barrel counts. So yeah, Magnolia is going to be a really, really good hitter. You're going to like it a lot. So this has been sitting for a while. The color on it is absolutely spectacular. So, I mean, I like that nice, rich color to it. So, wow. There's still maple. Okay, there's maple oatmeal. With like some cherry juice or something. I don't know. There's some kind of cherry in there. There's definitely some kind of cherry in this. Oatmeal is prevalent though. I mean, I get oatmeal. Now, if you know me, I almost always get that with any kind of rye. I always get at Bourbon's, at Hardee's. Oh, dude. All I know is if you're at Hardee's, you got to get the mushroom and Swiss. I haven't had fast food in like, I don't know, a long time. I don't miss it except for that one. The mushroom and Swiss at Hardee's. Now, it's probably because it has more sentimental value to me than anything else, but hey, I like it, so I'm going to stick with it. Yeah, so this is maple. This tastes like this would be the best oatmeal I've ever eaten in my entire life. Oh, dear Lord. That is really good. So although I was getting a ton of maple on the nose, I'm not getting nearly the maple on the palate I was. I'm not getting nearly the maple I was. It's still there, but it's been knocked down some. Oh, yeah, Hardee's. So I'll tell you, my mom used to work third shift at a punch ball. Well, they were a balloon plant, right? The biggest balloon supplier at the time in the world. So she made punch ball balloons. And back in the oldie days, you know, if your mom wanted to take a break or something, us kids could go in there and do her job for her while she took a break, and no one said anything. You know, you could go and that's the way you spent time, or you took the time to do something for your mom. And one of the things that she really loved was the mushroom and Swiss burger from Hardee's. And we used to have a Hardee's in town. So what I would do as a high school kid, I probably should have been in bed or studying or something. I would, at a certain time, I'd get up, I'd drive into town, I'd get Hardee's, I would take it to her, and she would go out and take a break, and I would go to her punch ball machine, and I would do her job for her. She showed me how to do it, and I would do it, and she could go take a break and enjoy the sandwich that she enjoyed. And she's the greatest person in my life ever. There's never been a person like that even come close in my world. And so anything I could do to make her day better, that was what I was doing. So this sips to her because she was amazing. But yeah, I think I'm getting more of like a cherry maple cake, like a little cherry maple loaf cake or whatever. Maybe with like a cherry maple nut, like there's some kind of like a nut in there, like a walnut or something. There's a hint of mint, but it's because I'm really looking for it. If you're a military person that ever got stuck doing MREs, meal ready to eat, this is a cherry maple nut cake. You'll know what that means. Daniel, I told you that is amazing. You're welcome for telling you to buy it. I could see why someone would really like this blend or really wouldn't like this blend. If you're a person that really likes a good drinking that has some proof, but has like flavor, like it's been finished, even though I have a finisher, I'm just saying it tastes very finished. This tastes like it would be amazing with a cigar because it's very thick. It's very rich on the back palate. I don't have any spice notes or pepper notes on the finish. It is all cherries, maple, sweetness, but it's going slow. I feel like there's like this molasses just slowly chugging. So it's great for a cigar, right? The legs on this look like syrup. They literally look like syrup. They're just barely moving, but they're wonderful, right? So really, really good. I almost would have no problem like dipping the back end of my cigar in this. It's that kind of thing, right? It's not quite cognac, but it definitely has that thought process of it. Except for, our proof is way above cognac. So you're talking about a 112, a 100, and a 94. So 90, 112, 100, 190, 202 divided by 3. Yeah. So, yeah, you're probably like, what, at 194, 100, 112. So, what, 104, maybe 103, somewhere in there, low 100s. So the proof's good, right? But just stuck. Like literally, this is just stuck to it. It looks like a splattering of stuff, and it just froze. Syrup legs is a good sign. Adriana, it absolutely is. And this blend, I hate to say this, I have finally found a rye that you have to go get. This Angel's Envy finished rye is a maple bomb. And it is not, I repeat, is not mint forward at all. Not at all. So if you have it, great. If you don't have it, we'll either get you a sample or figure it out. It was amazing. But this blend, I don't know. Let me diagnose this because this is important. I'm like channeling my inner Adriana and 4 other names, Rodriguez. So would I pick up rye? And you're like, oh, it's rye. You can't do that. You have no idea what I can do. Oh, you just picked that up yesterday since I won my blind flight from Shane Long. It really is all French toast. Yeah, it's syrup. I'm telling you right now. The only reason you say French toast is because you put maple syrup on it. No, it doesn't taste like eggs. I grew up eating nothing but eggs my whole life. Does this smell like scrambled eggs? Could it be French toast? I said pancakes. Adriana, you got me thinking because I know French toast. It might be more French toast than pancake. There might be an underlying egg note in there somewhere. Did you just put that in my head? I'm okay if you did because I've never really thought about the egg in a French toast, right? Yeah, but there is this weird, and I'm not getting the bread so much. Yes and no, right? So when I'm thinking of pancake, if you think of like the batter, it's not so much bready, but there's the batter part of it. So, but when you said that, I think the thing that is interesting is not so much the bread note. So to me, it's still like the pancakey stuff like that. But the big predominant thing to me that's different with French toast is the egg, right? It's battered in egg. So, and I think that's given me more of the French toast note now that you've said it than pancake. Not so much bread or batter, but the underlying egg. You can bet your butt the next time I make eggs, I'm literally going to just sit there and smell them. Yeah, it's more batter than I'm thinking of. So like the eggy of the French toast, kind of the batter. Yeah, exactly. But the thing was, you did not pull out, if it was blind, there's no way you would have pulled out rye. It isn't predominantly a rye. One mushroom and Swiss ordered, Ben. It is, I'm telling you right now, it is blissful. I'm not saying it's healthy. Nothing about it's healthy. It is just blissful. And it brings back incredibly good memories. Some of the best memories of my life. There's nobody ever more influential in my life than my mom, my wife, and my grandmother. My mom was my best friend. My wife is my forever person. My grandma was my guiding light. So the most three important people in my life were all significant women. And they all taught me how to be a better man. All three of them did. So I'm very blessed. Clint is in the house. What's up, Clint? Glad you could jump in there. Yes. Cheers to those women. Adriana, they were amazing. You'd love all three of them. The one that's still here, my wife, she can tell you about them all. So, hey, I'm going to throw up a cheers. Raise a glass if you have it to Clint Hickey, who just became a grandpa again today. His son and daughter-in-law just had a little boy. So cheers, Clint. Happy grandpaing, even though it's not your first. Every one of them are wonderful. So cheers. Yep, he was born at 7:45. I saw it. I saw it was there. A happy, healthy baby boy. So congratulations on that. Yes. Got some really nice, appropriate cigars to celebrate the occasion. Picked up some good whiskey. So just so you know, Adriana and Adam, and I know there's a couple people in here. I talked to Clint. He's like, hey, I went to this store and I picked up a Maker's 46 cask. I was like, hey, that's a hitter. He's like, well, they had like 5 or 6 of them. Should I get them? And I was like, yes. So I'm just saying, we found a place that has it. For some places that you can't get it. And I know some people in here have a hard time finding some of that stuff. But it's silly as it sounds, he told me where it was, and it's literally, I'm embarrassed to say it, I've never even been to this place. I didn't even know it existed. And it's literally maybe, what, Clint, is it 12 miles from where I live? If that? I don't know. So we went to 2 stores today. He found Maker's 46 Cask Strength, FAE01. On the shelf, plenty of them. I knew about the FAE01. But I bought 3 of them. I already have 3 of them. So Brian at Kilco, I only found a Maker's 46 cask in the Maker's sample pack. Well, we know a place where it can be found. We have a ton of FAE on the shelf right now. Yeah, we had one here, and so our liquor store here locally where I live, they're kind of sneaky. So some of the stuff they don't want everybody to buy, they put it in this back corner over by vodka. It's not on the bourbon wall at all. It's kind of like in this hidden back corner. The only way you would know it's there is if you happen to be going to get vodka or go look at cigars. If you don't do that, you wouldn't even know it's there. You did all the Maker stuff on your stream. Yeah, I saw you did that. I have a hard time hitting some streams because they fall at really bad times for me. Hey, Daniel. I'm telling you right, FAE01, and I'm telling you now, it is really good. And it is amazing with a Maduro cigar. Really good with a Maduro. Man, this has turned into, I'm telling you, this is a danger zone. So me and the Gunny always talk about danger, where you find something that you could literally just sit and drink and be like, wow, we're smoked. And you didn't even know it. I would say from the standpoint of a drinker that doesn't overwhelmingly make you feel that you're drinking rye, it's very deceptive. That's really good. And like Daniel would know that I would never say this. This rye blend is a Maduro cigar smoker. The FAA1 killed it. Adriana, the FAA1 was way better than the last year's seasons. I still have them over here. The FAA1, I think that the significance is what they did, right? When they did that fatty acid esters, I really believe in my own head, I think that they did just a little bit of copying, right? So if you read how they came to that FAE, they actually weather aged some of the staves, right? Who else do we know that weather ages their barrels? Oh, and by the way, they just happen to be hitters. Oh, and by the way, everybody just took their barrel pick to like smash everybody overall. First time Fred Minnick ever did a big barrel proof session and they won it was Woodinville. I mean, the Woodinville thing, that's their big thing, right? They barrel age their barrels. They weather age their barrels. And you go back and read about the FAE and what they did. They took a little bit of their staves, and some of them were weather aged, right? So I'm not overly surprised. So, yeah, so it's one of those things that's just, I'm not surprised by it, but at the same time, it makes sense. So I'm really interested to see what their FAO2 is. What did they learn about it? What did they plan on advancing from? And what is it they're doing? Yeah. And that's the thing, right, Brian? When you go through and you look at all the different ones, the RC6, the FAE, the SEO4, and you go through this, I'm not saying any of them are bad, right? But they all bring something different to the table. There definitely is something there. Do you have a camera on me, dude? I just poured some Woodinville cash drink. No, I just know that I've told you good shit to drink. So, but I mean, I don't know how many people actually watched it, but I really enjoy watching Fred Minnick. I don't care how big he is. I think he's honest. What he says is true. I like a dude that no matter how big he is, he talks like a guy. What's up, Cheech? If you have not subbed to Whiskey Encore, which I think everybody in here has, you should. But I think at the same token, you have to go through and do those things, right? You have to figure those out. So I want to see what they do with it. I'm really curious what they do with what they've learned. Oh, you're not wrong. I'm telling you what Hardee's does, and Hardee's is the only one that makes it like that, Ben. So, but going back to Fred's a real dude that gives a real review, and he doesn't care about, listen, he's big. Everybody wants him to say something. He does not sugarcoat anything at all. I've literally watched him slam a major person that's right next to him. He's like, hey, listen, this was trash. You can do better than this. And so I think that's the thing that I really enjoy. I don't have to like his palate, but I like his reviews. And when he went up, I think, what is it, I couldn't tell you exactly how many years, but the majority of the years that he does the blind barrel proofs, and he goes through and he does this and this and this, and he picks up, the majority of the winners over all the barrel proofs are almost always Wild Turkey Rare Breed. And this year, when he did it, Woodinville Cash Drink won it. And his predominant note that he pulled off of it was a double encrusted apple pie. And I understood why he got it. I didn't quite get the apple pie part, but I understood why he got it, because I really got apple crust. The crisp crust on the top and bottom together, I got that. I'm just saying, Daniel, I mean, I'm not saying I have a camera, but you have talked to me on your phone, and I'm not saying I cracked your phone. I'm just saying. At Whiskey Corner, who jumped on? Well, cheers to everybody in here. Man, I'm going to say it now. That blend is a hitter. It's a really good blend. I think if I was to make it over, I would probably do, if I was making a big blend, right? I mean, because sometimes you have to make them bigger. But if I was doing it differently, and you can do fingers, pours, whatever you want to do, I would probably still do, let me think about this. I would do a 2-2-1. I would do 2 parts the Jack Daniel's rye, the single barrel rye, 2 parts of the Wild Turkey rare breed rye, because I think it could be proofed up a little bit, and then 1 part of the Angel's Envy finished rye. I think that would be a little bit more in my wheelhouse because it's a higher proof. But if you don't like high proofs and you want, hey, what's something I can drink that I'm just going to think is really good, and I like having that French toast, as Adriana said, maple, yeast, fruit, it's this. This is probably one of my top 3 favorite blends I've ever done. I feel like I could absolutely dip my cigar in that and like really enjoy the hell of it. Well, I think the thing that for me is that I just like someone that's not afraid to, someone that has an extreme amount of clout that could capitalize on that. I mean, I've seen him throw some people under the bus that you just definitely would not think he would throw under the bus in his hometown. So I like the fact that he's gotten cocky enough. And listen, none of us are sitting out there at the San Francisco Whiskey World tasting because we've been asked to do it. So I'll give him his props where it's due, and I think I like the fact that he doesn't have a problem throwing shade where he thinks shade deserves based on his palate. I think sometimes he can be a little bit nicer because I'm more of a nice guy. But well, Brian, have you asked him to go on your show? I mean, he doesn't have telepathic, brain stuff like I do, where I'm just like creep on Daniel all the time. Now, this is such a hitter. That's so good. I can't believe Shane's not on here. I know he's busy. He's got so much to do for tomorrow. But I'm telling you what, Adriana, I know it was very last minute, but I'm telling you right now, epic, 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 epic. That's never going to happen, Daniel. I'm going to always spy on you. And at some point in time, you're going to have to actually love the person you live with more than the dogs. So I'm just saying. Really? DC, I don't think I've had Old Kirk. I think we're thinking about 2 different things. Are you talking about like a bottle of Old Kirk? Or are you talking like a bottle? You're going to stream next week, but not. Are you streaming next Wednesday? Because I thought you said Wednesday didn't work. Are you streaming next Wednesday? Because listen, I'm perfectly happy with you doing what you got to do. Because listen, what you've accomplished is amazing. And you've got my text what I think of you. So I want to know, Adriana, are you streaming next week? Evidently, Tennessee only races and will it. Source 6 year 129. That sounds amazing. You had me at like, I meant this Wednesday. That's okay. You can do next Wednesday. I will start the bookers. I'm starting with the oldest ones, so you'll just miss out on the chance to win the oldest ones. And just so happens next week, part of the auction is someone gets to bid on winning this. The Star Trek James T. Kirk cheese plate. I mean, that's the only things you're going to miss out on is my oldest bookers and James T. Kirk bourbon cheese plate. So it's not that big a deal. You'll be around for like the next 3. So I'm good with that. And I don't even want to know what you're saying in like Puerto Rican, Portuguese, Spanish, whatever. No, as always, I'm perfectly happy with figuring out how to mess with you and support you at the same time. So, no, by all means, do you celebrate you. And those are amazing accomplishments. And beyond that, you're awesome. I love you. I even like Nick. I'm just saying. Nick was killing me the other night. I can't wait. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it the week that everybody else is, but I will make it out there. That's just too close because I have so many things lined up. There's just no way. So I actually have, right? And, I don't have like 16,000, 100 million people here. So I actually have something launching. Yeah. So I have something launching this week. So I have a lot of things going on in my work world and my personal world, right? So my personal world is more along the lines of my personal business world. So I love doing this, and I will forever do this because I love the community. I love sharing. I love teaching. I love everything that has to do with helping someone evolve their palate, learn more about why or how they like something. And don't ever get in a situation that you feel like you can't learn something. If you've done that, you've missed the boat. You always have the availability to learn something. And so if someone says, hey, do this or do this or do this, give it a shot. You might be surprised. But with that, so I'm actually launching a business model where I live, where I'm doing a whiskey tasting experience, bourbon and whiskey tasting experiences, both at the corporate level and at the personal level. So I got most of all my stuff in line. I am launching July 1st. So that's exciting. There's cool stuff going on with that. And I will always do this. I will do 7:30 to 9 every Wednesday, 4 times a week. One of those weeks of each month, I will share that space with Adriana. I remember telling her in the very beginning, even before she even said she was going to do tubes and that stuff, when I had on Instagram that, hey, you got to go do what you love and, and taste it and understand what you like and why you like it. But understand your palate will change. It will change for sure. But Brian, let me tell you, and I can speak directly to this. And I know where you're coming from because I've heard you talk. I've watched you plenty of times directly deal with people. So there's a really, really simple thought process to this. Simple to someone that is like me who could talk paint off a wall. But there's a simple thought. And if you keep it simple, it's easier. You're simply someone's talking to you about how to learn from you. So it's nothing more than that. And understanding everybody's nice. Everybody's just waiting for someone to be nice to them. you're much more likely to have the comfortability to talk to someone if the very first thing they do to you is greet you with a smile and they're nice. So that would be my thing to you. Be nice. Nothing's personal. Change their mind. Just change their mind. And whatever comes your way, it's not personal. They don't know my middle name. They don't know your middle name. I don't know your middle name. So there's nothing I'm going to say to you that's personal because I don't know you enough to be that personal. So if someone comes at me and they're making me feel a certain way, I know they personally don't know me. They're just like ignorant or inadequate somewhere. They need to figure out somehow to boost themselves up because I'm perfectly comfortable with me. So I think that would be a major hurdle, is to figure out how do you just do you. And one of the things is just doing that, right? Just talking about something you love and don't bring in personal into it. So I know that's what I enjoy doing. I'm sad this is almost finished. This is really good. This is really good. I can't even explain how good this is. If you haven't done this blend, you need to write it down. And I don't say that every time. Where this is at the bottom as it's opened up is, there's stuff out there that you have bought that you think is a bomb that isn't as good as this. And I'm positive of it. Thanks, Daniel and Adriana. And, you know, I love teaching people. And I love seeing them learn something and empowering something. There's something about empowering someone to take knowledge and confidence. And Adriana, Cristina, 2 other names, Rodriguez. So we're getting closer. ACR, Alpha Charlie Romeo. I gotta have a ditty, like military. I gotta have a ditty. The next time I'll remember that because I know it's Alpha Charlie Romeo, ACR, Alpha Charlie. I have to do that. So this right here is amazingly good. There's things that you have bought that isn't as good as this. And there's things you think are really good, isn't as good as this. And I say that comfortably, not arrogantly. What's up, Lord, Mr. Sir, Lord Shane? You know what, Shane? It is so hard to figure out how to text you on my damn phone because I instantly think Shane. And then I remember I have to start with an M because you are literally Mr. Sir, Lord Shane Long in my phone. It's annoying. Hey, Adriana, you know what? We have something in common. We have them. I knew we connected all the way back on Instagram. All the way back then. So you're not the only one that goes by aliases, right? I have 4 of them. You're missing this weekend, Adriana, Cristina, Rodriguez, with like hyphen. I'll tell you what, you and Nick should figure out a way that you can like play hooky and jet over to Charlotte. Yeah, just saying there's some things going on that you're going to be like, why didn't we do that? I just promise you that for sure. So I'm gonna talk about this blend one more time because this is creeping up. As it opens up, it's creeping up there as like one of my top 2. Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof Rye. Angel's Envy Finished Rye Caribbean Rum Casks. And the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye Store Pick, right? And you can find that in everybody has a Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye Store Pick. Do a 2-2-1. What I mean is 2 parts, 1 part. this one right here, I mean, you could do this if you want a little bit more. If you want just a little bit more proof, do 2-2-1. If you're doing what I'm doing, I did 2 parts Jack Daniel's single barrel rye, 1 part rare breed barrel proof rye, 1 part Angel's Envy finished rye as what I did. If you go through and changed it because I want a little bit more proof, 2 parts Jack, 2 parts turkey, 1 part of the Angel's Envy. The only reason I say that is because the 112 will proof it up a little bit. Less than what it had before will knock down that maple a little bit, but it's still going to be a bomb. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a bomb. It's just going to be a higher proof. But for all intents and purposes, I am 100%. Adriana Cristina Rodriguez, I'm telling you right now, I am 100%. You would drink this, you would like it, and you would have no complaints about it. I am 100% sure. It's so good. I'm going to try the higher proof one. I'm going to do it like right now. So let's go 2 parts Jack. And yes, I will still leave on time Schwanger. So hold on here. What's going on? Not sure. What's up, shit? Time. What text? Oh, listen. That live. Oh, oh, God. I won't say anything. That's for him to say. I'm cray. No, I am absolutely on point. I'm on point. I'm 100% for sure on point about this. That blend I just did, no doubt about it. If you don't want to do this blend, that's fine. I will send you a blind of non-Ryes and this blend. I'm just saying. And you can't go back and listen to my notes and put it in your like smart brain and think, oh, I remember he said this, so I'm going to say that. No, get out of your own brain. Sometimes you have to like dumb yourself down to just generic. And besides, we're all smart. You just paid more for it. So there's my 2 parts of James Jack Daniel's single barrel rye. So I did 2 parts of this guy. For those that happen to make it through this amount of time and still watch. But surprisingly enough, I actually do have like some people. I wish I had the subs and that stuff as much as I do like the watch time. My watch time is killing it. So I'm going to equal that with the rare breed because I think it needs to be proofed up and knocked down because I don't really need it that sweet. I'd like it a little bit less sweet. I think it's that. Okay, well, you know what? You know what I mean. You may be the exception. I know for all the information that I have in my brain and my skill set that deals with my profession, it was paid for by the taxpayers. So, because I was military, not for any other reason. And so my finished rye, I'm going to like do a smidge, not nearly as much as I did the rest. Because I think the Angel's Envy finish rye is so maple forward. It's so maple mixed with whatever you'd put maple on that has egg. And that's because Adriana said French toast and she's not wrong. But it's not because of the toast. It's because of the egg. Stupid egg. Chris Ludwig. Glad to see you, brother. I can't wait. Oh, dude, this weekend's going to be epic. It's not even like funny. So I always do this. If you don't do this, take the time to do this. Anytime you blend, you need to blend it. You also need to mix it, but don't shake it. It is not something you put in the damn shaker and shake it. If you ugh. It's not exactly French toast. It's just the stupid eggs, Adriana. I swear to God, I should never give her credit. So you always want to do a proper blend, right? And the proper blend comes with just nothing more than actually blending it. You can't just blend it and let it sit. If you've ever done any alcoholic drink, right, and you put alcohol here and alcohol here and alcohol here, you'll find layers. I need no layers. I don't want layers. Layers are bad. Yeah, Chris, I literally, I don't know. Listen, it's really hard for me to figure out the last time I've been this excited. I mean, like literally, I feel like a kid. I've never felt this juvenile in like a long time. It's so exciting. But I think that's so, Brian, like in a more serious note, right? I would like to say that I understand that. I don't. I'm a socialite. I'm a people person. I could talk to anybody in any continent that likes me, doesn't like me. It doesn't matter. I could talk to anybody. But the reason I can is the basic understanding is that, man, I have this love affair with people. I can't give power to someone that has gave me something that I can't base anything on anything else. And I don't know your situation exactly. I have situations in my life I could have hated people. I could have hated a lot of people. But why would I give anybody that kind of power? I'm just not a person that's willing to give that kind of power away. My happiness and my enjoyment comes from this. I mean, think about this, right? You have this community. We all know this is a great community. Some of us get along with others better. None of us hate anybody, right? This is not Instagram. This is YouTube. The YouTube world is a totally different beast, and I help try to explain, like when I went down and talked to Magnolia, right? And he asked me, and I give Ed all the credit in the world because he asked me, he's like, what is the big difference between YouTube and Instagram? He's like, because I have people that want me to send them stuff that have like 50,000 Instagram followers. I said, well, they're probably just focused on themselves and not a lot of people, and they're looking at how they can make money on themselves and get monetized. I said, YouTube is a community that, listen, monetization is nice. If you get to the point that you can have something that helps to give you the opportunity to do reviews and do that stuff, and it's not out of pocket, man, that's really enjoyable because you want to at least get to the point that you make enough money, whether it be Patreon or donations or whatever, that you're not doing all the reviews out of pocket. But that isn't stopping anybody that's not monetized from doing reviews. Perry Ritter hasn't stopped doing reviews and podcasts, and he's been doing it longer than anybody. There's nobody in here doing it as long as Perry, who's still not monetized, which is a criminal act. How are we about to see someone go through madness and he's not monetized? And he's one of the most liked people because he's real. He doesn't put his focus on monetization, although he would like it. He doesn't put his focus on it. He's a real person. He's a real human. And he's not too big to meet with you if you go to Lexington, no matter how small you are. But, that's the thing, right? You have to deal with your inner demons, right? And that's something you have to figure out. I don't have the answer. I understand what PTSD is. Everybody has it different forms for different reasons. I'm not a person that, listen, there's things that I am so blessed. So I will say this right now, Brian, I'm incredibly blessed. My brother lives 2 houses away. He gives me and affords me the opportunity to talk as a military man, right? My PTSD is no different than his PTSD. So we can talk. Do I feel like I have what I consider to be post-traumatic stress disorder? No, I don't. But is it right? Is it real? Yes, it is. But if I didn't have him, dude, it would be so hard to talk. It'd be so hard to talk. So find someone you can talk to that has some, search it out. Where can you release the things that give you that and figure it out? Just don't let it cripple every other aspect of your life. It's a process. I'm not saying it's overnight, but that's what I would do. Left is right next to the PC. Didn't grab it. Big League Birdman, you crazy man. Thanks. Yep. 209 miles from home. You're 209 miles from home or Shane's? Oh, you don't have to say good luck, Shane, James. It's about to be one of the best weekends he's ever had of his life. And the only thing I have to say, I'm going to put it in the post. And I will not explain this. Best weekend ever. So I let this open up, and I'm perfectly comfortable with why I was doing what I was doing. But so the maple kicked down a bit, and the proof kicked up a bit. Quite honestly, I think Adriana Cristina Rodriguez would like this better. Booyah! Adriana. This is the blends you must do. Because the things that you do like, right? I know the one thing you're missing, but it's the only thing you're missing. The rest of it, not even it's not there. The things you hate are they're not even close. They're nowhere to be found. Nope. I'm telling you right now, I've just made the greatest Whiskey Mountains Alpha Charlie Romeo rye blend. Epic. If you do this on your own without me, I will fly straight to Utah and make sure I put little freaking tripwires on every single hiking path in Utah. And I do have a particular set of skills. So if Adriana's in here, right? So if Adriana's here, so the 221 blend knocked out there's literally not on the palate, not on the nose. There's nowhere in there the thing you hate the most about rye. It is non-present. So I will say this. The mashing drum goes on at 9. I'm not jumping off because this is too good. I know how to get it. If you can't find it, Adriana Cristina Rodriguez, if I drink a little bit more, I'm going to say that on point. I know where we can get it. We can get you a bottle. You just got to tell me if you want to wait to find it or if you need someone to help you out. Because, listen, there's people in the chat and there's people like me. We can find it. But I can tell you this. You have to have the rare breed. It has to have the wild turkey rare breed to go with it, right? On its own, you wouldn't hate it, but you're not going to like it. You'd like 75% of it. 75% of wild turkey rare breed rye, you're going to be like, yeah, that's thumbs up. Maybe even 80, but there's like a signature note that you will get eventually that you won't like. Save your Angel's Envy finished rye. Don't touch it. If you can get the Jack Daniel's single barrel rye at 94 proof, get it. And let us know if you need the Wild Turkey Rare Breed barrel proof rye. And we'll make sure it makes its way to Utah. There is not a spackling, not even a small spatter of the stuff you don't like on that nose, right? Left. Nowhere, not on the palate. Matter of fact, I think, oh God, I'm going to do this. Oh, I am going to like so mess with you. Yeah, it was a 2-2-1 blend, Shane. It was Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof Rye, 2 parts of that, 2 parts of the Jack, right? The Jack Barrel Proof we did. And then 1 part of the Angel's Envy finished rye, Caribbean rum cask. Which that Caribbean rum cask is nothing but just like a freaking maple bomb. It's like, oh, hey, maple freaking cream stick or whatever. You want to get married? Yup. I'm like, done. So, Shane, do you have the Angel's Envy finished rye? This is, I'm telling you right now, this is number two on my all-time blends. And I've had some killer blends. I'm telling you right now. So do it in this order, right? Pour your Jack Daniel's 2 parts. Don't measure it. Come on. You don't measure shit. Looks like 2 parts. Figure out your 2 parts of that. 2 parts of the Rare Breed Wild Turkey Rye, because I know you have a whole bottle. 1 part finished rye. Double pour it. Long pour back. Smell it. Taste it. Jab a little bit. You won't have to. But taste it. And then just jump back on here and say, Adriana Cristina Rodriguez, we've just found your all-time favorite rye blend. I swear to God, if you have a jigger, you know I'm going to be there tomorrow, right? I know exactly where I'll put that damn jigger. You better not have no, it's like listen, I know a person that would be like 2 parts. So you have a jigger, right? One side's double the other side. You do a jigger, I swear to God. I'll come down and like, it won't even be pretty. Now do it by the eye. There's so many things that I've done over the years blending. And if I've done stuff that I thought was good if I just poured it to my eye, than if I measured it. When I measured it, it doesn't always taste the same. So I'm not judging you. I was talking shit to Schlonger. But you want to start getting sassy with me, Adriana Cristina Rodriguez, don't use a jigger. You don't have to measure it. I know that you want to. Don't. I've literally had people that have me do concoctions for them, and they'll be like, what's your parts? I was like, unmeasured parts. Don't measure it. You know what? So I'll explain how to do it, right? If you pour something into something that's not like, so I have this really fun Evan Williams pouring thing, right? It doesn't have any measurements on it. I just simply pour it into, it's like a finger. And the next one's another finger. And the next one is like half a finger. That's how you do it. Just saying. Now you're just starting to, oh, yeah. So this part of you is like Mrs. Battalion, right? You start dealing with like really smart 4.0 people. pouring thing is a techno. Exactly. It's a pouring thing. Yeah. It doesn't have a label. It's a really cute Evan Williams pouring utensil. Here, how about I say device. There you go. I'll make it more of like a military term. This is, what is it? A bourbon pouring device. You know what? You give me enough time, I absolutely, Kitty, can come up with an absolute nomenclature from the military on what this would be. James Morgan, you are absolutely right. Hand-eye coordination forever. But you know what? There's a difference between, listen, as much as I will talk shit, I will also be honest. There's a difference between hand-eye coordination and brain-hand coordination. And let's face it, the Schwanger can play a guitar, and it makes me jealous. Because it would be like A note, B note. And how do I do everything else? I can lift heavy things. I can shoot long distances. And I can drink a lot of bourbon. And I'm pretty sure I can break a lot of shit. Those are my particular set of skills. Yeah. You know what? As in, don't even make me break out the little baby Glencairns that you like so much. I have them. I have you know what? Just because you said that, and I know that you like things besides the baby Glencairns, when I give out samples of Blanton's, because I'm perfectly happy giving out. Adriana, do you have the baby Blanton's? I know you like the baby Blanton's because you like the baby Glencairns. Look at that little baby Glencairn horse. And I have all of them. I literally give out the samples. They're fun when you just want to do little pours. This is what Adriana is talking about. If you haven't had this, these are the baby Glens. Right? The baby Glens. And this one happens to be from Evan Williams. In my head, what you said was, besides, oh my God, it's cute, and he said adorable. In my mind, it's like, ah! So, yeah. So, like, when I give out samples locally to them, I just say, hey, listen, I'm perfectly happy giving you a sample of the Blanton's, but please make sure you return the bottle. And so they do give them back. I've never had one not returned. There's no doubt about it. That is, you know, the thing that's nice about the baby Glens is what you can do with them. So, like, whether you're smoking or doing something with them, they're really small, so you can do a lot of stuff with them. Or if you just want to do like small pours, you want the nose to be a little bit more defined, and you just want to be like, it's like half the size of a Glencairn, the mouth. So if you really want to focus the aroma, if you're really into nosing, it really helps because it actually proportionally is the same distance from bulb to top as a Glen would be. It's just more defined. So you're thinking about like smoke coming from a big pipe to a little pipe, right? Oh, Zach just called. Yeah. That's okay. I get that. Hey, listen. You and Zach are important. Dan, when you and Zach someday we need to have like a little stream between us. I've been with you and I've been with Zach, but I've never been with both of you. That would be an absolute wonderful shit show. A Buffalo. So, hold on. So Chris just said, yeah, no worries, Adriana. I'll be here for a little bit. Yeah, jump over to Mash and Drum. Mash and Drum's on right now. So jump over there if you want to see what he has going on tonight. I'm not really for sure. I'll be honest with you. I've been getting ready to go down there to the Whiskey Weekend. So Chris, Big League Bourbon, said, I just made a Buffalo Dick 15-year knob. Buffalo Dick 15-year knob 14.7-year 122. So I'm guessing, is that Buffalo Dickel knob? It's got to be. I would say, honestly, I'd be more intrigued to your order. What did you use as your base? So you did 221. Was your 2? What's the proofs? I know what Buffalo is. Your 15-year, I know what that is. Your 14.7. I would have put like my Buffalo Trace Dickel 15. Yeah, I know. That's a great name, though. You did Buffalo 1, right? I don't know. I would have probably put Dickel as my 1. Well, I mean, you could have put Dickel as 2, I guess, because you're going to try to get it up. You know, you got to get that Buffalo Dick knob up, right? So you need to, like, Viagra it. Knob 120? Yeah. Well, you know, with those two, you're going to have to bring it up proof-wise. How did it taste? Did you mix around the different blends and try to figure out, you know, what tasted one way or another? Did you mess with that a little bit? Hey, so thank you for like the 13 people that are still hanging in here. You know, I mean, so Clint is on Russell's single barrel rye. A big difference from rare brew. Oh yeah, like night and day. You know, they're, you know, you wouldn't think they would be, but they actually are. Which is really weird when you think of like Russell's single barrel, you know, and rare breed rye, you're kind of talking about like just turkey, right? And you have an overall turkey, but the Russell single barrels and the rare breed rye are not the same. They're not the same. That's why everybody goes like crazy over the Russell's barrel picks, right? The Russell barrel picks are 80% on point. So it needs to be 3 parts knob, 1 part Dickel, 1 part Buffalo. So before you blend that, right? So if you're talking about like knob, 120 knob, right? 120 knob, Dickel 15, so I know what that is, and 1 part Buffalo Trace. Chris, do you have Wellware Special Reserve? Do you have Wellware Special Reserve? That's what I need to know from Chris. Big League Bourbon. You got to have this Wellware Special Reserve. If you don't, I will bring you it. Yeah. So there's a really weird thing about blending. There's no rhyme nor rhythm to it at all. But take out the Buffalo Trace, add the Wellware Special Reserve, and it will do exactly what you said it needs to do. You said it's close as I made it, but needs a little more proof and mouthfeel. And flavor profile is good. Flavor is good. The weird thing, Wellware Special Reserve, which is a weeder, I have no rationale to why it does it. But in the blending world, a Wellware Special Reserve right now will throw a mouthfeel that feels totally different than what you think it should be. What's up, baller? Thanks for liking and subscribing. Glad you jumped in here. If you don't know about me, hey, reach out to me. I'll talk to you. You know, I love teaching, describing, learning, blending, smoking. How do we like what we like? Why do we like it? And how do we make it better? So thanks for doing that, man. I really appreciate it. But yeah, Chris, Big League of Bourbon. I'm telling you what, sub Tito. Thanks for being in here, brother. Yeah. So, you know what the thing is, right? James Morgan, you're on point, right? So it's absolutely, if you look at having Buffalo Trace neat and you have Weller Special Reserve neat, right? You have a totally different concoction because you're talking about a wheated bourbon versus a traditional bourbon. I don't know exactly why, right? We'd have to have Adriana break this down. But the thought is that I know I've done it enough to know that for whatever reason, Weller Special Reserve on a blend gives a mouthfeel and it proofs it up. And it has no reason it should, but it does. And it would do it more than Buffalo Trace. I can tell you that for sure. Tito, you know, there's a link in here. You can jump in here. There's no reason. Listen, anybody can jump in. I'm literally just doing nothing but talking right now. I'm happy to have anybody that wants to jump in, jump in. By all means, I would love to have more people jump in when I'm past what I'm doing. I'm going to throw it up there, the link. No, James, he says it's in the esters. You know, yes and no, right? What's up, Zach Andrews? Yeah, everything's good with me, man. I have more good than bad, so I'm going to focus always on the good, right? Family time, showers, making dinner, getting homework done. All right, Tito, love you, brother. Do what you got to do. Make sure you watch this weekend when we do our live stream from down at Schlonger's. It's going to be an absolute, like, amazing shit show. So, wish you were there. So, the mouthfeel improved, right? It doesn't make sense. Why did it improve? But it always does. Thanks, Baller. You know, I think that's the thing, right? You have to take this product, whatever it is you have, you've paid, you've like spent money on it. And then you have to figure out, did I feel like I got my money's worth? It doesn't mean I need to have a money's worth of bottle. I just need to taste my first taste and then I get my money's worth. If I didn't, well, how do I get my money's worth? Is there something I can make better? And I will give you perfect thing. Like tonight, I did this blend, and there's no way, I am absolutely 100% convinced I could give this blend to anybody. And I don't know. I can say this confidently. There would be less than 10% of the very best people out there that are tasting gods that would not be able to tell that was a rye. And all of them were. And I think that's the thing, right? You have to like explore your palate. You're going to have palate evolution. And you have to understand, why is my palate evolving? What is it in acclimation? How is all this stuff working? And I just don't think enough people are spending enough time figuring out. I think they do. I just don't think they talk about it, right? Because there's a lot of people in here that know a lot of shit. They just don't always talk about it. And for me, I'm a glorified teacher. I love helping people understand it. So I'm so glad you're here. If you ever have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. If you're interested in Patreon, we do a lot of individual cool stuff in Patreon. It can be as little as like $3. If not, bourbonbattalion@gmail.com. Just reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you at any time. Doesn't matter to me. So, James Morgan. Evening, Zach. Did Zach jump? Hold on. Did Zach jump in here and I was jabbing and missed it? I gotta scroll up for a second. I don't. Zach Andrews, what? Holy son of a monkey's uncle. I know I said hi, Zach, but I was like so busy talking. You know, listen, you guys have the link. Anybody can jump on here. Jump on and shoot the breeze, man. I'm done blending, although this blend is amazing. I'm telling you right now, that's arguably probably, I think I will change what I say. I don't think. I could bottle that and sell it every day of the week. Every day of the week, I could bottle that and sell it. Without doubt. Yeah, James, you're not wrong. When it comes to like the stuff that they say with Daniel and them guys, the Brujera, right? The dusk, is that the dusk and the dawn? I think it's the dusk and dawn, right? I wish I could find that crap in Ohio. I know where to find it. Schwanger, did you try that blend? Shane, did you find that? Did you do this blend? If you did, you're welcome. You're welcome. 42. Hey, Daniel H. We need to make this blend, or I'll make it and I'll send it to the group. The Canadians will love this shit. Oh, Adam, look at you doing JDB. So you did Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye. You know, well, how nice of you to have a Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye. Old Ezra 7. So I did the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye and Old Ezra 7 ADHD blend last night. It's pretty damn good. You know what? I can see why. You know, it kind of makes sense, right? No. So yes, Baller, you're new to my channel. I actually did a blend with Cleveland. I did a blend with Cleveland. All right, sending it now. It's right there, Daniel. Right below yours. That's all he has to do. Oh, hold on. There he is. What's up, Zach? I didn't
even realize. Bobby, what's going on, buddy?
You know, losing my mind reading the stream. I didn't even see the blue.
Daniel's like, hey, there's a link in the chat, and I'm like, no shit. I'm sitting backstage. That's why I'm like, Bobby, let me in, man.
You know what? Yeah, you just gotta say. So it's such a strange thing, right? Because you're on StreamYard and this feed, and it's so you're trying to find out, you know. And I get laser focused on trying to be like talking to everybody and.
Oh, I know. You doing all right?
Dude, I'm doing better than all right, man. I've been on I'm a 75% to 25% high over the past week than low. So to me, that's a win.
Hey, brother, that's a passing grade. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the thing, right? You look at those things and figure that stuff out. Dude, you know, I can't even tell you. I mean,
oh, come on, man! You like that? You like that, Baller? Yeah, you know, it's when you can only grow it up top. You know, that's what you do.
He's got a small flavor saver.
Hey, man,
I got
it works. It works for me. I got a great palate.
No, you know, but listen, that's important, right? So, on a side note, that's beyond being just because we're guys and we're retarded half the time.
Right? Half.
Yeah, well, whatever. But, you know, do you find it I know for me, it's absolutely significant to take, like, when you pour something, every bottle is made terrible. So every bottle on earth drips, and you wipe up the drip because, listen, I paid top shelf for this. I'm going to pay. And you take it and do here. Do you do that every time?
Oh, honestly, yeah, I'm always like, oh, what did I get on there, man? Or you know, like eating, you know, chips and queso or something, you know, or meatball sub. It always gets up in there. I mean, you know, but
But,
hey,
you know,
whatever.
so
I got sick of shaving.
I always do a certain thing, right? And the reason why I'm saying this because I saw you do something and I thought you did it wrong. So I'm just going to call you out on it. So if I have a drip.
Well, hold. Okay. You go right ahead. I got something for you. I got something for you.
I know you do. That's why we're going to do this, right? So like when I get a drip, I don't ever do a finger. I do this. I pull it up like this so that I can do this. Because I need it like right here. I don't want to do this. I just go like, and sometimes I think I purposely do it just so I can go. Because for me, and you can talk shit about me in a second, but for me, I feel like what I put on my mustache under my nose, it lets me know what it could be. Because it evaporates so fast and it's right there. And I'm getting those aromatics. So a lot of times I'll do something. I'll be like, oh my God, you know what? That's what that's going to be. Because you're not talking about very much, right? And it evaporates much faster the less it is, right? You take a bottle of water this, and you take a bottle of water this is going to be gone way before this.
Absolutely.
So you're going to find out what it will be decanted or if I let it breathe.
Fair enough.
Do you ever think
you know what? I have gotten to the point, especially if something is wine matured or finished, where I can tell if it was a little bit, say, over matured and it's tight and it needs that little bit of air. You know, there's plenty of those, but it's the Balcones is Brujera, which is Spanish for witchcraft.
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, the Dawn and Dusk are both phenomenal.
Well, I was talking to Daniel today, and everything.
Well, hold on. I didn't put Mr. Balcones up there for nothing.
Well, I heard it from you. I know that Daniel and you talk, right? But like that's the thing that like sucks, right? I can find the very bottom stuff, and there is some Balcones in Ohio, but it's not any of that stuff.
Yeah, but y'all get store picks, don't you?
We do.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the way to go. But let me respond.
Well, it's not
Dustin,
the Ohio Liquor Commission.
Oh, gotcha.
The Ohio Liquor Commission. So everything comes out like really simple, right? So when we get like this is a barrel pick, right? Every one of these it only says Ohio Liquor Commission. State ran. The Ohio Liquor controls it all. He is the mafia. And as far as I'm concerned, if I could find him, I would Al Capone his mother.
So you're like the LCBOs up there in Canada, Well, they don't get anything. They don't get anything good.
No, we're not that bad. We do get some. I can't bitch too much. There's things that we do get that are like legit, right? So you do get some stuff that is really good, and they do trump it out there. But there's also stuff you don't.
Well, I will say if you're lucky enough to find that Dawn and Dusk, do not sleep on it. It is.
Well, I'm gonna find it because I know two fuckers in Texas, close to Atlanta, so I'm just saying.
Well, I gotta find some more of it first. I sold all my friends.
Yeah,
they held back the case and didn't put it up on the shelf because I got a case of each, and I pretty much sold the whole thing to my friends. So,
yeah. Well, friends got to be first, but I think the thing is that at least you guys let people know, hey, it's worth searching for, right? And that's man. I'll
tell you what, that Madeira finished Balcones is It's not like any other Balcones, and it's tasty as hell, man.
Hold on. What is that hat? Is that a for? You gotta tell me what it is, though.
It's Matt Booth.
Matt Booth.
Room 101. That's the Japanese Sakura that's on all of the Farce labels.
Nice. I would like to say that I know what that meant, but I don't.
Well,
I don't know that.
oh, there's one. I smoked this one earlier. That's the Farce Connecticut.
Oh, nice. So are you typically a Connecticut leaf wrapper?
No, I like them all.
Yeah. Do you find that you have to be like really selective with your pairings on your wrappers?
I would say that there are certain types of whiskey that I like better with certain wrappers, but the wrapper doesn't necessarily determine, I think all of the flavor, I think like
it gives you
like, yeah, absolutely. And I think the, what is it? The JFR torch leaves about a half an inch at the end with filler and binder sticking out. So the first half inch is nothing but filler and binder. And then as you get through that first, half inch, then all of a sudden you get this really, you get the coming together of the filler and the binder with the wrapper. So you actually get to see what effect and kind of how the wrapper really does kind of bring everything together. But you and I both know that every Maduro isn't the same, because of that filler and binder combo.
Right.
I mean, you've got so many combinations out there right now, and there's just so much good stuff.
It's really hard. Like, so you're trying to say something generic, right? Because I'm not running a cigar show. But if someone says, hey, this, I can tell you something really simple. I can say, hey, listen, look at the wrapper color. And in that wrapper color, you're going to have like, so you're talking about like, an intermediate level.
Yeah.
So, and what you have is you understand that. So if you don't understand certain things, right? So like I can tell you right now, everybody says, well, how do you cut it? I always start with a punch. I don't want to mess with my caps. If I don't have a draw, I will V cut it. If that don't work, I'll cross cut it. If that don't work, I will cut it. Hopefully it's 3 deep. If it's not,
yeah.
And if that doesn't work, I will never, ever, ever, and my brothers watched me do it 1,000,000 times. I actually have a dental needle that I got from my dentist, and I will punch all day long to break up a fucking knot all day long before I will break that third cap. I won't cut past the third cap.
I think just a small snip on the end, it works for me. I find sometimes with a punch though, the heat, especially when you get down to that final third, the heat that comes through is a little too focused. You know what I mean? And I find sometimes with a punch I'll pull harder than I need to.
I think that, but that's the thing, right? You have to recognize. You have to recognize that when you do it. Like I know the minute I punch it, if it's going to be that.
Yeah.
So I know it's like I can tell you for sure 100% of the time, a cigar that's always a hitter, it's always good, and you can punch it every time. I've never had anything out of like probably 20 boxes that's ever been failed. Is Oliva Melania V Liga Especial. It's a pressed. You can punch it. It never fails.
I'll tell you what, man. People pass over box press cigars, and they don't even know, man. They were actually round while they were being fermented and rested, and then they pressed them. Most of the time,
that opens up that opens up the breathing, right? That opens it up. So you can literally just do a punch at the end and it breathes like you just cut like the whole top of it off of something. And even then there's plenty of, how many times have you had something that you cut that was that was round, wrapped so tight that you're just like, it doesn't matter what I do. You can't breathe through it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think that's a lot of times I think that's a individual cigar issue. It's, that, 1 out of 100 or one, well, whatever it is, it's that small percentage that comes down to a construction issue, and there's nothing you're going to get past if it's a construction issue.
No.
Have you had any of the Stallone stuff?
I have not.
So look up their box pressed San Andreas.
Yeah,
that's a hitter right there, man.
Okay.
I'm a real big fan of that Mexican wrapper, man. I really enjoy those San Andreas wrappers.
So
Stallone, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Stallone.
I have a guy that owns his own cigar thing. So like we have two things going on. Like I literally was with him today meeting. So I have like a vision, right? I actually know that, and he is like ridiculously, I can't even believe the guy's mentoring me. He is world renowned in the idea that he originally started 75 years ago as a pipe guy. And he was the leading dude for fixing and making pipes.
Wow.
And he progressed into pipe, cigar, and all this stuff. And he's got, dude, this dude has like so much backing. And I was over there, got to know him, got to talk to him. We was talking about this and this and this. I said, hey, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah. It's like, I really want to open my own VIP cigar lounge that has a whiskey tasting experience involved with it. And we was talking about it, and he's like, you would be my direct competition. And I said, yes, I do. I said, but understand, I'm not trying to take your people. I'm trying to do something unique that is not you. And not everybody's going to come to me because I'm going to be a price point, right? I'm going to be a price point. And some of the people aren't going to be here. And he does really good.
Well, and sometimes, sometimes that isn't really competition if you both increase market share.
Right. And that's what I talked about. And, and my proudest business moment was he said, yes, I will mentor you.
Fantastic.
And he's not even 20 miles from me. And he's the only guy within 60 miles of any major metropolitan network. And told me,
wild.
Then he asked me, he said, would you be interested in buying my business? And I said, well, I don't know anybody in your area. It's not my area. And he's like, I've had a lot of people ask to buy me. He said, but not everybody has the ability to communicate and talk and be, forward facing, customer service facing, and stuff. He said, you're the only person I've ever offered my business to. I said, I told him, I said, Jeff, if you were in my market, yes, but you're not where I'm at. I don't know anybody where you're at. Even though it's kind of close, I don't know enough. I'm not ingrained in their business. I don't know the people there. I don't know the hitters there. I don't know anything. Could I find it out? Of course I could. But he doesn't have my vision. Listen, I've been a member since 1998. I've been a member of exclusive cigar lounges. And like I got asked tonight when I was over there by some people that want to come do my tastings and stuff. They said, what's the most exclusive membership you have to any cigar lounge? I'm a member. Who's in the chat? I'm a member of the London, England Playboy Club cigar lounge.
Those things are still around?
Oh, and flourishing. But the thing is, it's not what you think.
Oh, I
think people get caught up when they say Playboy, right? They think like naked girl. Okay, first of all, no, they're not. That's not that. But in London, if you want to smoke and you're part of the cigar, like, and they have like the most amazing cigar lounge because they're UK. You go out onto this thing, it's outdoors, completely covered from the elements. You have every table you go to is set up for cigars. You have gambling all around you that's just for the cigar club. And you have a personal wait staff for the cigar club. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I came back with all this stuff. Like I have memorabilia on my bar. And she's like, why do you have all the Playboy Club stuff? I said, because it's kick ass. That's why. And I was like, it's not like I'm sitting around like Hugh Hefner with a bunch of naked people. They're dressed. I mean, go to any mall. They have less clothes than these girls do. I was like,
yeah, it's just people associate it with, the magazine and they automatically think, what's his nuts from, Larry Flint, that's where their mind goes.
That's hustler. We're talking.
Yeah. Well, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know.
Hold on one second.
I'm trying to catch up here. Top Shelf Dustin is in here. Listen, Dustin's a Ohio guy that is basically a Kentucky guy, but Ohio guy.
But
hey, Dustin,
Dustin,
I'm not jealous from Cleveland. If you need something, just let me know, and I will go hunt it down for you. And then I'll come down there, and you can hunt shit for me, and we'll just trade up, and then just drink. Because I will drive to Cincinnati all day long. But Cleveland's only an hour for me.
Well, and Dustin, I was smoking a cigar, so Mama don't let smoking go on in the house. So I the whiskey room, is over there. So I was taking my leave to the garage because it's been torrential downpours for the last week. Normally I'm on the back porch, but yeah, tonight I'm in the garage because I needed some cover.
Well, I did, so it's really funny, right? So I have done the whole cigar in the like downstairs because like the wife is like, yeah, no. And so she's like, I woke up this morning and it smelled kind of cigarish. I was like, oh, outside you probably left the windows open or whatever. And she's like, oh, I did leave the window open, didn't I? And I was like, yeah, whatever.
No, I ain't passing that one off.
I love having a cigar with. I'm telling you what, this blend I did tonight, like literally, I swear to God, that blend with it is a cigar blend. Did you hear my blend? Was you on here?
No, I missed it. I was dealing with a rowdy 3-year-old.
Yeah. A 3-year-old?
Yeah. Like I got one in college and one in daycare.
Like a child or grandchild?
No, that's my kid. I was dumb enough to start over.
Congratulations. At least you know how much you've done wrong to figure out how to fix it.
Apparently, I did a whole lot wrong because this kid's wild. He might as well be called feral.
Well, that's because, basically it's a grandchild thought process, right? So I literally had this discussion with some grandparents. I was like, you know what? I think grandparents is like such a like terrible term. I'm not a grandparent. I'm a fucking super parent. I already have all the answers and the finances to be a parent. When you're young and have a parent, you ain't got shit. You're struggling, stressed. You don't know what to do. Now you're basically a grandparent. You know what to do. The baby's crying. The baby's going to cry. Whatever. Like yeah, it's my daughter brings my grandchild over. She's like, why did he just like change? And I was like, well, because I'm not like stressing about it. He fell and he hit his head. Boys are going to do that. Like that's what boys do. My son, when my son was born, and the first 5 years of his life, he went to the hospital 3 times and had stitches in his forehead 3 times.
Well, my kid, he headbutted a glass of wine in my wife's hand, and he still has the scar over his eye from where I still think there's a piece of glass in there. Maybe that's what's making him crazy.
In his eye?
Oh, well, he walked up to my wife and just head butted her glass while it was in her lap, and man, that thing shattered.
Wow.
So I think breaking bottles over his head is going to be a real thing for that kid.
Hey, that's not always a bad thing. Just the right element.
Yeah, well, just 12 ounces okay. Just don't go for the 32s. Okay, that's a bad experience because it usually takes a couple to.
I can't believe no one else has jumped in here on the chat, right?
Well, I saw you and I was like, and I was talking to Daniel and I was like, man, I need to get on here and roast this guy because he is so camera shy, and it's all, well, I don't have a.
No, you know what? Listen, I'll be honest with you. As well as I do, it's different when you can jump on and you have a really good connection place.
Yeah, he lives out in the sticks.
Yeah, he's in the sticks. Like, I mean, I talk to him not as much as you, but plenty. And it's really hard, I mean, it's, we're at the church, animals, shit's happening. Mostly him having with his dogs.
Oh, that's the best when he walks over to the church because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, usually if he goes to the church, there's like a love affair going to happen with the dogs. I mean, that's like straight up like, you know what? No,
man,
it's like the best, and I absolutely love this community. Have you ever dived into Instagram?
I'm a lurker on Instagram. I have yet to actually post anything, but I just lurk and
but it's such a thing that it literally has the potential to be something, but there's so many people that do what a few people here do, right? A few people here, and a few people here still support everybody else, not on Instagram. But Instagram is all about profiteering. There's a few people here, and everybody knows who it is, that are profiteers. But they're still supportive, semi-supportive of other channels. Where in Instagram, yeah, not so much. If you're not their clique, you're not welcome.
Agreed. And that's not a game I'm too old for that stuff, man.
Well, I was in there for a bit, and we decipher stuff really fast at our age. And I was like, yep, nope. Okay, I'm gonna talk to these three people. And then someone literally reached out, like, why aren't you doing this? So I was like, because I don't want to deal with any of you but these three people. And they're like, dude, that's harsh. And I was like, wow. I'm like old enough to be your fucking dad. I don't need you to act like you're a fucking douche.
Yeah.
You like yeah. Well, then quit trying to profiteer and tell me what you like and why you like it, and be happy to talk to someone that fucking enjoys it.
And listen, man, just because you don't enjoy something doesn't mean that somebody else does. That's why we have so many choices, right?
And I think that, listen, literally, I had this conversation with Shane, and I said, the one thing that I absolutely do, no matter what, you will never hear, and I have never said something is garbage. It's not. I will review something, and no matter what my palate is, I will tell you, if you like this, you will like this. If you don't like this, you won't. Because there's someone out there that likes something you don't like. If I have this tube and this channel, and I'm literally giving a whiskey review, I am not doing due diligence to someone that watched it and someone that created something. I just, I'll tell you what, Daniel.
Oh, man. You know what, Daniel? Listen, bro, you're sitting there in your boxers and your cut-off fucking T-shirt trying to act like friggin' Tom Cruise. Okay, go slide across the floor or something, buddy, because
he thought we were going to roast him. I talk about peanut butter and dogs, man. We're better than
Oh, yeah, I did get kicked out of the house because they're in there doing a family Zoom call, and I'm like, yep. I don't want any part of that.
Hey, let me go hit my garage door real quick. There might be a rare, like a rare appearance, like rare. So we'll see if he actually. I don't know if he'll come by. I don't. I think he'll just hear him. But the gunny's on his way down.
Yeah, you're short like Tom Cruise, Daniel. Oh, Dustin, that hurts, man. I'm not good enough to. Well, I'm no what's his nuts. No, I don't do this professionally, but I got to be better than Shaq, right?
Oh, that's James. Like, take your meds. You must be talking about you, Zach. I don't take any meds.
The only med I need is more whiskey and another cigar.
You know what? I if you consider this medicinal,
I do.
Yeah.
And it's legal in all 50 states and approved by employers.
Then I'm definitely like on medicine.
It definitely helps with my sanity.
You know what? This is like funny. Like Dustin's like, you let your wife banish you to the garage. You're not from someone that's single.
Listen, man.
I wear hook slides because I can, Daniel. You're probably in your stocking feet, afraid that someone will tell you to take your hook slides off. Give me a break.
Oh, no, so, Dustin, listen, I just picked my battles.
So Zach, reality, right? We was talking about this blend. We started talking about it. We never got to it. So I did a blend tonight of Ryes that absolutely no way in the world you would ever think after blending and a double pour that it's a rye. Not a chance. So I did Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Okay.
Barrel Proof Rye.
Yep, got it.
I did Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye Store Pick.
Okay.
Which is just, the old red label, right? Just this.
Gotcha.
And I did Angel's Envy Finished Rye. This guy.
That's the port one, right?
This is the bourbon's port. This is
bourbon's port. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Caribbean rum cask. So the Caribbean rum. Do you have the Angel's Envy Rye?
I don't have that one.
Ugh. It is like the biggest. It is the absolute. The only thing that is more maple than that is Knob Creek maple. But if you blend it, I did a 2-2-1, right? And I had to do the Angel's Envy as one part because it was so sweet and so maple. You just couldn't add it to a maple charcoal filter rye. You couldn't do it. So what I did is I originally did a 2 Jack 1-1. So I actually had to add another one to the rare breed to proof it up and to not.
So you started with 2 Jack, 1 rare breed, one Angel's Envy. Gotcha.
And it was too much, mate. It was too sweet. It was good. Like if you like that, bomb. There's no part of it. At 2-1-1, you could get like on the very like back end, you could get like a spearmint note, but it was really masked. On the 2-2-1, gone. There's no way. If I sent you this in a sample, you would be very hard pressed to be able to pull a rye out of it.
That's awesome because I mean that's
so crazy.
That rare breed is so spicy.
Yeah, but you know what? I went through, like, if you go back and watch, and I'm sorry it's so long, but but if you go back and watch, I did in the very beginning, I did a sample of each one. I talked about them each one, and you do have you have a cherry front, you have a spice that finishes with whatever it is. I got to read more.
Miracle Grow. You think that's Miracle Grow, bro? You don't even know, man. This is next products, man. This is next level stuff. Okay.
What am I?
I actually want my yard to look good, not like I live in the sticks. I'm just busting Daniel's balls.
No, I'm trying to catch up. I've been talking to you. When I talk, I don't usually read. But when I see people looking at stuff, I'm like, why are they laughing? It's not me.
I mean, Daniel's talking. He wants his Adidas slides back.
He can't wear those. He would trip and get like mauled by his dogs for sure. He can barely like get to the church without slides.
Or a cigar cutter,
like,
right, Daniel?
You're straight up making me like, oh.
Dustin, I like my yard work, man.
I like.
Hey, baller! Listen, don't give out all the secrets, buddy. Listen, it's all organic, okay?
I'm perfectly happy with watching someone do my yard work as I take a drink.
Oh man, I love it. I love cutting my grass. I don't know.
I used to when I was younger, but now I like sitting on my back deck, drinking a bourbon, having a cigar, and watching them do it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that where I'm at, Zach, it's way cheaper to have someone do that than yours.
Probably because
I have a 1 acre yard, and if I want someone to come in that they actually cut it, weed eat it, and everything, it's $30.
Fair enough. If you can get them to do it for $30, I couldn't get anybody to do my yard for $30.
Well, that's the standard, and I have an acre in town.
Yeah. Well, that down here wouldn't fly.
Well, because
I've got mine's about a quarter of that, but I enjoy doing it. Nobody does it. Nobody does it as well as I do.
But a quarter acre, it only takes you 15 minutes.
I'm not riding.
Okay, 20.
Nah. I don't know. It's like 9. It's like 10,000 square feet is my total yard.
Oh, you're gonna make me.
I don't even know. Is that like 3/4?
Hey Google, how many square feet are in an acre?
To convert from acres to square feet, multiply unit of area by 43,560.
I didn't ask to know the equation.
So it's like a quarter acre.
Probably. It'd be
at 43.
It'd be like my front yard.
Oh yeah. Did Daniel send you some of that 4 Roses?
No, I told him to pick up the 4 Roses single barrel proof.
No,
the single barrel proof rye.
Didn't he send you? Didn't he send you
the batch? Yeah, the one he did send.
Yeah. I got mine today.
Try this blend.
Sure.
Oh, dude, it was fucking phenomenal. So the Gunny's in the house. I'm gonna make him a blend. You can say hey. Hey. The infamous Charlie's Angels voice is here. Let me find a clean glass. I made arguably, and this will be great because he hasn't had this at all. I made the best rye blend ever that does not taste like a rye.
Hey Bobby, I'll be right back. I'm grabbing another cigar.
Yeah. By all means.
Where did it go?
So James said, "Evening, Stephen," and he actually spelled it right. Mr. Whiskey's like, "Hey, Steve, cheers." Bourbon's like, "I want to see the Gunny." Yeah, never gonna happen. Top Shelf like, "Show the Gunny." Yeah, not gonna happen. Imagine this.
Only better.
Only better in his eyes. So I'm going to make the Gunny this. I did Jack Daniels single barrel proof rye. I did 2 parts this. So I go here. I'm making yours way smaller than mine. You want a smaller in yours?
That's fine.
Okay. When's the last time you had Angel's Envy finished rye?
Angel's Envy finished rye. It's the last time I opened my bottle out.
So how many years ago? It's been a while.
It's probably been a year and a
Yeah,
half.
it's been a while. I guarantee you it's changed in what you think. I cracked it tonight and I was just like, did I just have like the best ever? I originally said, you know, like I will never take away. I'm not going to act like I didn't get it tonight. So I did the, to me, it was like if I had a thick Perkins pancake that I was saturated in pancake syrup, like maple syrup. And then I got to talking and forgot about it. And I didn't see any syrup on my plate. It soaked it all up. So it was like batter and this stuff. And then Cristina Rodriguez decided she wanted to say like, it's French toast. And I was like, not because of the bread, but maybe because of the egg. And so it's really hard to do it small. I have to like think about it. This is a freaking maple bomb.
Good stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Well, because of the port.
But
port makes it sweet.
It's not port. It's
What?
Caribbean rum cask.
Oh.
And the rye, Angel's Envy
That's what I
bourbon.
meant.
Angel's Envy bourbon is rum or is port.
That's what I meant, Rom.
But this, I mean, it's a maple. It's like literally the first time I was like, did I just like pour maple on me?
That's got like rum's like made of molasses, ain't it?
So he's over 70. No, he's not. He's not over 70. Bourbon Time, the 2020 limited edition, what Zach is talking about. Do you still have some? Yeah, I do. He's talking about, I think you're talking about the Four Roses, right? Top Shelf Dustin, you making in the internet equal. Cheers. Dude, I'll tell you what, like, first of all, thank you all for like hanging out and chilling. So I appreciate you all and just shooting his shit. But like, we're going to double pour this for the Gunny. And he's going to I know exactly what he's going to smell on this. It is the only thing, and I made this statement earlier, the only thing that I've had that smells more maple is when Ken poured his favorite Knob Creek maple. And I was just like, you saw what I poured.
Yeah.
It is like the most insane thing I've ever had.
Well, that rum's going to really add a lot of sweetness.
No, it's maple. It's like maple upon maple on maple. It's like a maple cream stick dipped in maple syrup, it's like, so the Gunny's having one. I got to have one too. So it might be my like fourth, but I'm going to have another one. If you're not, Ben, are you on I-81 in West Virginia? Where are you staying tonight? Before you go to the next away, where are you heading out? Are you camping out somewhere? I think somewhere along the lines, you're like somewhere. Are you staying overnight somewhere? Because if you're at I-81 in West Virginia, that isn't Whiteville, is it? It is Whiteville, isn't it? Is it right outside of Whiteville?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think so. Ben, where are you at? Ballers like at Bourbon, it's deliverance country. You're not wrong.
It's like I took Quaker brown sugar maple oatmeal package and ripped it open, and I haven't poured it yet.
That's what I said earlier. I was like, dude, this is definitely maple. But you know, like when the more it opened up, the more that stuff, I ended up going from like maple oatmeal to like if I had a maple oatmeal mixed with a peaches and cream. So I'm.
We've done that before. When you wanted 2 packs of oatmeal, but you only had one maple and one.
You want 2 packs of oatmeal because you're hungry, but you
got
only
one
have
each.
maple, apple cinnamon, or peaches and cream. You're like,
I don't care for apple.
do I want apple cinnamon or do I want peach?
Maple and peach it is.
There you go. It is what it is. Bourbon at Symbol Baller Deliverance. So, okay, well, you know, I know you're in deliverance country. Get that. but where are you actually at? Because like I know if you're going through West Virginia, you have to be making the trek west. So somewhere in there, you have to be jumping over towards I-40, right? And you have to put like a little splash of this. It's just like I don't ever remember Angel's
That's
Envy.
like the active ingredient.
I never remember that being so maple forward.
That's the rum.
Yeah, I don't remember rum making me taste like it's maple.
Did you ever mix with rye before?
No. Did you?
No.
Okay, well, I never. I mean, like, I'm just saying that, it makes sense. Like, when you think of rye, I think of rye, I always think of oatmeal.
What other rye did you mix with it besides rare breed?
Jack Daniel's single barrel,
Ah,
which is maple char filtered.
well, that might help.
Well, I mean, like, it's straight maple out of the nose of this.
Mhm.
You can do it right off the bottle. It doesn't matter. It's so maple forward. So what's in here? So Daniel's in here. Listen, you know what? We're going like significantly longer than I
Angel's
ever.
Envy Ryes, not just for breakfast anymore.
Yeah, that Michael. So my buddy from work, Michael Mossbauer, out in Lee Summit, Missouri, who's next to Lucas Liquor, his favorite drink when he first started was the Angel's Envy Rye. And now I'm like, my other buddy I brought onto the bourbon world, his is like Knob Creek Maple, and I'm like, those fuckers were drinking the same thing with different distillers.
Yeah.
It's maple. It's so maple.
It's like someone dumped rye in your maple syrup.
It's like, why did you put some rye liquor in my maple syrup? Anyone in my... James said, is there anyone in your green room? I don't have a green room, man.
100 proof.
It's 100 proof. So I have 100 mixed with a 112.2 mixed with a 94. So about 100.
So find someone who really, really likes Crown Royal maple. And throw a splash of that in it and open
You'd
your
have to
eyes.
proof it up though, right?
Well, yeah, it's only 80 at 100. That'll put us
Take a crown,
put a spring in there.
take a crown maple and add rare breed. Because that'll proof the difference, right? 80, 112.
This will boost it up to 90 anyway.
Yeah, but it's gonna make it more maple. It's got enough maple. It's crown maple.
Throw an ice cube in it. Give it to the girls.
Oh, fuck off. Dude. Hey,
So
so
it'd be a panty dropper.
if we're all trying to do like, oh God, who's in here? There's 13. Yeah, I can't say that. I don't know
Well,
who's in
that's
here.
why the guy doesn't talk much.
Well, that's why it's the best thing. If we did a podcast, I'm sure we'd be like banned or like the biggest podcast ever. If you, I'm telling you what, if you threw an ice cube in here,
Do you want a cigar blend or a panty dropper?
a cigar blend or a panty dropper, yeah, you know what? Add ice on a hot summer day.
You know what they say? Candy's dandy, but liquor's quicker.
Oh,
Liquor, I barely know her.
so did you hear what the gunny was like? We actually have had this conversation like a million times. I'm absolutely positive that like if we had a podcast that we didn't even know was like, we just set it up and we just did our normal shit, we would either be the top podcast out there in the whiskey tubes or we would be banned.
Demonetized.
We not
Demonetized.
absolutely shut down.
Ah,
You can't say that shit. And I was like, say what?
we'd be shut down, but invited to a party.
Yeah, we're like 6 parties. Oh, Zach knows what we're talking about.
Oh,
Oh,
It's better after the first sip. Because my first sip was
I'm
my
telling
first
you what,
sip, but
it gets so much better. It starts lightening up and
Wasn't-
loosening up so
I
much.
wasn't terribly impressed. With the first
I
sip.
am really excited. I can tell you this, right? I may do this. Because I'm sitting here trying to figure out, and this is a thing, Zach, I really do enjoy doing, right? I enjoy blending. I do really enjoy it. So I like sit there and think of like I know I'm talking to you And with that, I'm talking to Zach and Daniel, right? So I'm sitting there like, well, they like this. There's certain things that's missing. And as I get down a little bit more in this, I'm sitting there thinking like, what samples do I still have over here that makes sense to give enough of a note of something that you'd be like, that may be this, but you know what? So like I'm sitting here like recalling like my new Texas journey, right? Like but I'm very familiar, right? I remember everything I've tasted. I don't not know what I've tasted. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, this and this. So I think one of the things that would be really good is if I took a Texas bourbon that had some bitter to it. There's too much sweet. I need to add Texas and not sweet to make it not because I think Texas bitter is bad or good. It's I need to add it to this. How do I bring out that malt with this? If I can throw like a heavy malt that isn't sweet into that, it will change it. It will change it like right now. Because malt is malt, right? You know what you're getting with malt. So if you're trying to figure out like, okay, I don't need a sweet note. I need yes, Dustin, I need mulch. I need fucking bark mulch to add to that because there's so much sweet. I need it toned down, but I also need the complexity of the heat in the barrel that you get from Texas. And what you get with Texas, right? And I can explain it in my head. It won't make sense to someone from there, but I can explain it for me that it's somewhere between a really fragrant, it's hard to say. It's a fragrant tar sealant and a really strong black tea mix.
That's one Daniel says all the time.
He says black tea. So I said black tea because Daniel said it. And but when he said it, I understood. But I still identify with fresh tar sealant, not asphalt, not this. But if you think of like you just had you have a blacktop driveway and you had it sealed on a hot day. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Listen, as a kid, I grew up and I think gasoline smelled amazing. So like tar sealant, I know what tar sealant smells like. Now add a sweet spin on that. I'm looking at what I have left. So the ones I have left would not do it justice. I have like Balcones Grand Cru, which is sweet. Iron Root EVO 1-3 is sweet. This stuff is like not comparable. That's not comparable. But I want. Hold on, I'm going to try something.
You need one of those barrel proof Ryes.
Besides the rare breed.
Well, no, you were talking about like if you were going to add something to it, and you were saying like Texas, but not sweet. To me, that would be like one of the Balcones barrel proof Ryes.
Well, the only thing that I have in abundance that I didn't really care for, but I thought might be able to add something to this. But I have to like drink it down a little bit. Like I still have that much left, so I got to figure out how to drink it. I'm interested to see what this Garrison Brothers single barrel would do to it. Because it's not like great, right? It's not great,
but it's expensive.
Yeah, but what it might do is add a profile.
Yeah, I could see that because it's less
about like it's not sweet. It's not.
It's
not
that
champion. It's not terrible.
It's that barrel spice note.
Yeah,
they use those tiny barrels.
Not have front, middle back finish. Nowhere on what this blend is as a rye has a spice note. There is zero spice note. The closest you could come to is cinnamon. And even then, it's not even that. It's like if your cinnamon had maple. It's like, oh, cinnamon maple is the best I could come up with. Oh, my maple French toast, someone threw a splash of cinnamon on it. Why'd you fuck with my French toast? We don't toast. What do you think I should add to that to like sweeten it down without take away from how good it is?
I was just seeing the Pikesville Ryes 110 would add proof to it.
So you think we should add that to the 112.2?
Make it won't bring the proof down.
Won't bring the proof down, but
Much.
it might spice the rye up, right?
Yeah.
So the guy said Pikesville.
Wow.
So Pikesville it is. So I have this much left. I'm going to throw what I think is like a 1-ish dash. And if Adriana happens to somehow spend time and go back to this and watch this long into it, which she won't, but we're going to make it better. So I'm going to do like this. This is where I'm at. So I think that comparable, I'm like I'm 2 fingers. So what, a half finger? About a half or
Just
one?
pour it. That's all right.
Yeah, so like right in here.
That's it.
I'd say it's like that. So I went from 1, 2 to like maybe like add another half finger. So I did the Pikesville, which is 110. I don't even have to look at it. I almost feel like I know something. And no, I don't ever spill that shit because, hey, listen, I do this.
You got too much there?
Yeah. So I'm going to share some because someone's like, you got too much? I was like, yep. Oh, the nose changed. like drastically, the nose changed. Do you ever just sit around and do this, Zach? I'm like,
No, because
God.
I buy perfectly good scotch.
Well, you know what? Hey, listen.
I'm messing with you.
Good scotch, you even make it better.
We can make scotch better.
Man, I don't.
Listen, I literally like.
If you like blended, I can't believe you haven't found your ways all the way into scotch, man. Because
well, you know, I mean,
you want to talk about differences in flavor profiles.
Did you talk to Daniel when he gave me scotch and he asked me to nose it and sample it and taste it? Did you talk to him?
Yeah, he sent you. He sent you the Springbank 12 cash strength 57.1 and the Altmore 12.
No, he sent me the Springbank 56.5.
Oh, he sent you the 56.5? Oh, he didn't even send you the good one?
He sent me the Altmore 46.
Yeah.
But
the
thing was when I went through and tasted them and I nosed them, like I profiled them, right? You know, because like the thing I'm confident in, I don't care what I have. I can give you a nose and I can give you a palate. It's my nose and my palate, but I'll give it to you. I'm absolutely confident in what I smell and what I know. And he said that, you know what? I was on point. You know, I'm not so it's a weird thing, right? So I was never a scotch guy, but however, when I worked with the business sales teams, I was drinking scotch all the time. But I wasn't drinking like your ordinary scotch. We had a budget. We could spend whatever we wanted. So like I remember the first scotch I ever had was Macallan 28. And so like the utmost and spoiled, like there was nothing that was off limits. Could literally buy whatever. And so you go through and try this stuff. So I'm perfectly comfortable with my palate. And you know what? I think the thing is like as much as you go through with like bourbon And yeah, shut up, Zach. You go up
hey,
with
hey, Daniel, spell my name right.
yeah, CH. Zach.
Or as the kitchen in the restaurant used to call me, Satch.
I really knocked that maple down a little bit. But it
It
didn't.
was an interesting mouthfeel.
I mean, you get a little bit more spice and a little bit more proof in the mid palate.
It tastes like you've gone from a girl's drink to a man's drink.
That may be a little bit better. It's changed.
Yeah.
Depends on your palate, right? So adding so I would say like 2-1-1-1.
It isn't like
2-2-1-1, right? 2-2. So we're at like 2 parts Jack Daniels, 2 parts Wild Turkey Rare Breed, 1 part Angel's Envy Rye, 1 part Pikesville. It proofed it up, still flavorful, but a spice bomb on the mid palate. And like on my finish, I still feel my mid palate. Like I still feel it. There's like this, like if you've ever had coffee that's too hot and you feel like your numbness in your tongue.
Yep.
That's where I'm at right now. But I don't have anything that's like hot. So.
Holy shit.
I'm telling you right now, this is like, I do believe though, because the thing that in order to like Scotch, right? In order to like bourbon and to like all these things, Texas, you have to be able to enjoy the fact that you appreciate your palate.
Oh, most definitely. But
Yeah.
but at the same time, while some people are gonna favor one over the other, and sometimes I think some people do just because they had like 2 things of one of them, and they're like, oh well, I've only had Jack Daniel's Black, so I don't like bourbon. You really hadn't had bourbon, right? Like I mean, there's so many more flavor profiles out there.
First of all, it's bourbon. It's just double aged.
It's
your language, right? I
you
would
know.
never say that, but to you,
But I mean, but the Scotch, there's so many different profiles, and that's one of the things that probably I when I go to a bourbon, I've been drinking long enough that I know what bourbons I like and I know what flavor profiles I like, and unless something's gonna come within those parameters, I'm not really that interested, truthfully.
But you said the most important thing, Zach. You know what you like and why.
But I've tried, but I'm not going to turn my nose up and just say like, oh, I don't like something because it's not within those. I'm like, hey, you want to send me a sample? Fantastic. I'll drink on it. It may not be my favorite. I might not go buy a bottle of it, but I'll appreciate the experience.
Well, that's kind of how we do Scotch.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, right? That you have to, but you appreciate the experience because you have to do palate exploration. You have to realize what you know and what you don't know and put it together and figure it out. So like when you sit there, like I can remember like I did Scotch and I liked it because I didn't really know what I was drinking, but I liked it. And then when I got into bourbon, well, I really like bourbon. And when I tried Scotch and bourbon, I was like, I don't really care for that because they had that musty stuff.
But even saying I don't like Scotch is not fair.
No, it's not fair. Because now I've been back on this like palate exploration, back into Scotches, knowing what I know now. And there's shit out there that I think are hitters. Like listen, Zach, you may or may not have been on the feed, but I was literally saying like when I did the Texas shootout, I was very, very transparent. And I said, listen, the ones I've had, and I had like 6, 7. I had 4 of the Balcones and 3 of the Iron Roots or whatever. And I said, all 7 of these are better than 50% of all the bourbon we have together. It's not about like tooting someone's whistle. It's about understanding where I am at and understanding that, listen, I'm not a Scotch hater. I'm an adventurer. I feel like the Lewis and Clark of fucking liquor. How do we get to the finding the next?
I've won. If you really want to go there, there's one thing to say, and that's the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society.
I'm just waiting for someone to send me freaking Pete's. I keep getting promised, not by you and Daniel. I keep getting promised they're going to put me on Pete because I really am like I'm open-minded.
So the thing with Pete is to me, you've already started. You had the Springbank and you liked the Springbank, right? Of the two that Daniel sent, the Springbank was, and it's funky and it's just fantastic. Yeah. I'll agree with Dustin on that one, but
I don't disagree.
So I think for you, like the next step, like if you really wanted to go Pete, I would say something Highland Pete, because typically that's like a meteor. You're not getting kind of those medicinal notes that a lot of times turn people off. Now they turn people off because their palate doesn't understand what the peat smoke is, and they don't know how to process it. So they immediately go to kind of the most off thing that they can find.
Right.
And that's where that's where their mind goes. And it's like that, it puts that negative connotation in their mind. But if you kind of get there as a journey and you save those kind of for the end, I think you'll be better off. So something like a Ardmore would be fantastic, because typically you can find them independent bottles for, $50-$60. And they're that kind of barbecue smoke, nice heathery smoke. And, then I would say, okay, then if you're willing to go from there, then I would immediately say go, something like, Brooklotti. That would be probably the next intro, but you can find,
but I'm really, Zach, I'm really comfortable with my palate, right? I'm perfectly okay if you send me fucking road tar. It's absolutely irrelevant to me because I know what I like. I know, and I'm perfectly okay with my exploration, right? I was a Scotch guy. I was a whiskey guy. I was a bourbon guy. I got into bourbon and did the bourbon. And now what I've found is like, there's this like, hey, listen, there's bourbons I went back to that I thought were hitters in the day. I would never buy ever again. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that I've advanced.
You've moved on.
Like when I went into like the Texas, when I did this whole Texas shootout, I was honest to God, 100% all in. I've never had a Texas whiskey. I was completely transparent. I had a bottle. I made sure that I cracked it because I had it because someone said to buy it, but I never opened it. And that was that Garrison Brothers. And I was like, I never had it. And then I was talking to Daniel and he sent me stuff. And so when you go and do that, so like when he sent me scotch and that stuff, I haven't been wrong. And Daniel can confirm this in the chat. I haven't been wrong on my notes. My notes are right. I haven't been off. And he agreed. Wait, you're not wrong. So I'm not saying that I'm bourbon battalion. That doesn't mean that I don't drink a lot of shit. I'm just on this adventure, right? I'm trying to figure out what are all these things I like, so that as a person that loves to instruct, train, challenge, all these things, you like this? Yeah, I can show you how to make it better. And that better might be a blend. I might need instead of having a Rye, I might have a botch. When's the last time you've ever heard a botch? Go ahead and say it. You just heard the botch for the first time. I'm pretty sure.
I've never heard of it.
When's the last time you've ever blended a bourbon and a scotch? Because I've done this. I literally did this on Instagram with the Sarcastic Whiskey Wench from Scotland. She was in Scotland and moved to the UK. And we did a session of entry level bourbon to scotch, scotch to bourbon. And so I told her ahead of time when we talked about it, it was like, oh, hey, listen, this is what I think you should do for a bourbon guy going to Scotch. For me, it was really simple. It's not even bourbon, so it's kind of like a cheat. But I said, hey, Woodford Reserve American Malt gives you the best shot of figuring that transformation because you're 51% malt. So, and you have to think novice. And you're having like corn back behind it, right? So you have the corn. And she put me on like, oh, hey, Glenfiddich 12. And so I was like, okay. And so when I did it together and we were sitting there like this, and I tasted mine, she tasted hers, we tasted them together, we were doing it together, we did all this. It was her first live ever. And if you don't follow the sarcastic whiskey winch, she's probably one of the top 3 best women in whiskey, period. And the idea of what she does, right? She has a segment on her Instagram channel is how did you fall in love with whiskey, and challenges people and talks to them and does sessions with how did they get there. But we did it, right? And so you took Woodford American Malt and blended it. So I made her, I said, listen, we're going to do this and then we're going to blend it. And so I did it, and she got her notes. I got my notes on both of them. I said, you know what? If you blend this, it's going to turn into a chocolate orange. And we did it, and she's like, oh my God. That's what I'm looking for. It's like, how do we figure out? So there has to be somewhere like, hey, how do I make these transformations? How do I figure out the next step? How do I try this? You should be advancing your palate across all whiskeys. But there is an evolution to it.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody sees, Dalmore. Dalmore is always typically Oloroso sherry matured, But this one from SMWS is a bourbon barrel. Sorry, bourbon hogshead.
Yeah.
And man, this is the best. This is the best Dalmore I've ever had. And I've written off, majority of the Dalmores because I just think they're overrated, underproofed. They're dumbing it down for not people like us. But this bottle is for people like us.
Yeah.
And man, and it's. I mean, I could send you like 4 different samples, and they would all be from the same distillery, but they would be completely different whiskeys.
But you could do the same thing in the bourbon world. But you know what's really cool? Blend them. Find the medium road, because listen, you can be a Scotch guy, and I'm advancing towards that. Doesn't mean I don't love where I came from. And you love both sides, right? Listen, I can talk as much as I like about bourbon. And I know of what I've had Texas that I like. I know what I've had Scotch I like. Our idea is like, if we're really truthfully being transparent towards the idea of being a community that helps teach, then we have to be perfectly understanding of the idea that how do we bridge that gap? Well, you bridge the gap with blending.
Or you find
a small and
or you find particular whiskeys that even if they're an official bottling that somebody can go out and buy, right? That's always the way I've looked at it. I'm like, let me know what you've had and where you want to go, and I'll point you in a direction.
Ken, do you see?
Yeah, I like alcohol.
Ken's
yeah,
like alcohol. Ken, I can't even believe Ken hasn't jumped on here. I don't even know why. He knows that. Listen, the link might be so far deep. I'm going to put it again, just for Ken.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, Dustin. I think that there's a particular whiskey out there that can get somebody to who's picked a side, right, and can come back towards saying, okay, maybe I wrote this off, and anybody who's intro to Scotch, and the only thing they've ever had was like Johnny Walker Red or like, Chivas or something, just regular old Chivas Regal or something like that. It's like, well, hold on, man. That wasn't even like a single malt. There's grain whiskey in there, So to me, I just like to know where people are coming from and where they want to go. And, I've turned so many of my friends on where they've said, well, I don't know. I don't really like that. And then I'll give them something and they're like, okay, I was wrong, So, but I will 100% agree with you. There's nothing more fun than getting someone who was like, no, to change their mind.
Well, and and that comes with the idea that they're not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to make that transformation, listen, it's a really simple process. It seems complex. The simple process is, I agree with what you're saying because what you're saying is right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. However, let's take this journey. So it's steps, right? I'm taking X. Doesn't matter what X is. And you're moving it a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. I'm like cracking up because I know it's exactly
Mama's bringing the trash cans in because today was trash day. No worries. Yeah, I totally agree.
What Dustin said here is like not offbeat at all. Like it takes so much time to explore Scotch, just trying to get them to understand the difference between cask offerings is insane. But you have the same thing with bourbon, right? You have people that are entry level bourbon drinkers, and it smells like alcohol, rubbing alcohol. That's all they smell. In Scotch, you're gonna smell nothing but smoke and peat and like tar and all this stuff. You smell it like, whoa. It's like burning rubber. And but it won't be. So you have to figure out, what do you like? This is what this is. Where's the middle of the road? And how do you start? So if their favorite thing is, let me do this. Like, oh, I gotta do this hands different. If their favorite thing is this, and you want them to get to this, it starts with this. And if we are doing our due diligence, we're not hating, we're not talking shit, we're helping them to explore, understand, and move to the point that they can talk to their people. And listen, this is what I've learned. This is what I started with. And they can like it should be that. It should be like, and somewhere along the lines, you want that person to be like, hey, listen, this is what I learned from Zach. This is what I learned from Dustin. And
absolutely,
there should be that, because you want to be an ambassador. And when you're talking about ambassadorship, it's to everything you stand for, right? It's like, whether it be your country, your name, your family name, your country, your city, your state, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're teaching someone and trying to advance them, then there is a process that is lengthy.
Agreed. But also, it's being able to offer them, listen, here, try this. You don't like that? Okay, then let's go over here. It's kind of like, there's not one right avenue. You really do have to look at it kind of person by person, because it's palate by palate.
But you think it, like I agree with one of the things you said, that I took it maybe different than you said, but I think is really important. They need to try something they absolutely hate to get to the point they're realizing down the road, I can't believe I hated that.
Well, but see, I think you can get there from like leading somebody through like really sherried scotches and then giving them sherry with peat, right? Rather than just kind of, because it helps balance out some of those kind of more off flavors that they would initially find. and not find palatable. But in fact, my neighbor was a perfect example of this. And I was like, "Hey man, do you drink whiskey?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, y'all come over." And we had just moved in, and I was like, "Well, you guys come over. I got plenty to share." And we kind of led him through, and we found that he really liked sherried scotches, and I was like, "Okay, well let's switch it up just a tad, and let's go with something with a little peated." And I was like, "Okay, well here, try this." And it was and he was like, "Oh no, I can't do it." And he was like, I was like, "Okay, well that's fine. Well, let's shift gears. Maybe peat's not your thing yet. We're moving a little quick." Got him some other things, and he really enjoyed those, and he kind of palate warmed up a little bit. And then I was like, "Okay, well, let's go through Isla. Let's see where you land." Right?
Yeah.
Where did he land? He landed at Ardbeg. And he tried the Ardbeg 10 and the Ardbeg Ugadal and was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Right?
But so like this is really important. Like I'm just curious. I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this like any weird thing that could be taken wrong. But I'm like really thinking in my like terrestrial training world, right? That's what I do for a living. I have found on multiple times that being able to understand palate acclimation, complete palate acclimation, comes with patience. And it can be just one. I'm not surprised that as he journeyed, that happened, because he probably would have been okay with something before that. He just wasn't acclimated.
Exactly. So, when I went back and I gave him a sample of what he didn't like the first time he had it, and he was like, "I didn't like this? Are you kidding me? I'm an idiot." And I was like, "No, you're not an idiot. It's just I took you to a spot, right? But you weren't ready to go there yet. I pushed your palate kind of as far as I could push it that night, and I was like, okay, well, maybe that's a little too soon,
It's not too soon. It's just not long enough.
Well, and sometimes being receptive enough, I think, on their part to kind of step outside of their comfort zones. Yeah, it throws off their expectations. Yeah, that's a great way to put it,
Well,
Dustin.
I think the thing is just the understanding that palate acclimation doesn't come with a modern day society approach, right? We want everything now. So I don't believe you have any chance of acclimating to the idea of the best that the master distiller created in anything without having the idea of understanding that there has to be a significant amount of time between your first pour and your second pour. And the reason why is because as that is going down the palate, it's doing all the things it's doing. It's also, so like you're having a cigar, right? Tastes pretty good on the draw, right? You like it. Take your next one and French inhale it. It won't taste the same. It won't smell the same. But guess what? What happens with the idea of coming in and then what exhausts out your nose, you can't have acclimation without the exhaust. That exhaust happens from the finish. The aromatics that come out of a finish comes back through the exhaust. It isn't until then that you're actually acclimated. Then once you've done that, You've done an entire first tasting. It's sitting down there. You talk for 10 minutes. You go back to it. Your nose, your taste, everything is drastically freaking different. It's different,
Absolutely.
completely different.
It's the same way with a cigar.
Exactly the same way. No different about it. Nothing different about it. You want to go in there and taste it, and then like take some time away, but don't let it go out. Don't let it go out. But you don't have to like double and triple toke. Just keep it lit. I don't want to relight it, but I want to experience what it's going to become. There's no difference. It's just the idea of acclimation. And I don't think we as a society spend enough time talking about that because it's lengthy, right? It's tedious. It doesn't get you. It doesn't get you.
It's patience.
It doesn't get you monetized. It doesn't get you profitized. It doesn't get you subs. There's nothing about that that's going to make anybody want to watch what was going to be like a 1.5 hour stream to a 3 hour stream. But the knowledge that's here and this part that no one's going to watch, it is mind-numbingly sad that someone's going to miss it because they are lazy. They're not going to take the time to understand that, like, you as a Scotch guy, Texas guy, me as a bourbon guy, both agree.
I mean, you know, when I listen, I'm a whiskey guy, man. You know, I don't like to say that I only drink Scotch. I only drink Texas whiskey. I only drink, you know, I love all whiskey. You know, it's just some is better than others.
I love the journey
Yeah.
in my palate. I will take something. I was like, wow, this is really good. Is there a way I can make it better? Like like, you know, everybody gets a little bit of hate mail. And I've got a little bit. It's like, why would you blend that? I was like, the fact that you're asking me means that you don't understand.
I've tried to blend stuff, and I'm like,
Harrison.
and it just you know, it just never comes out right. So I'll leave that to other people. You know, I enjoy having, you know, my bottle as it is. But hey, you know, if somebody wants to blend something and hand it to me, I'll drink it.
I'll tell you what, blend I did tonight, there's no way anybody will convince me. And I'm really comfortable with my palate. It would be very hard for us to say this.
Look at Dustin's comment.
When he said that, like, straight up, he's like everything but Garrison. I'll tell you what, you know what? I will have to like literally send like some blending and figure it out and send something to him and say, like, what do you think this is?
It might get a 65.
I can blend it. But, you know, but I understand the idea that there's stuff I don't like. There's stuff I don't like.
You know, listen, you know what? There's more so that I don't like about Garrison Brothers is it's not even the price. It's not even the whiskey.
I don't like the price.
I don't like the price, but I took the tour there and I came out and I asked them a question. If you can make a Dallas good quality, good on him.
I just said back, like,
you know,
just give me a 375 and I will. How did that all happen? Why did I get autocorrected? Like, really just said, hey, Dustin, give me a 375 and I will do it. I don't know what all that shit is. But hey, I do.
But you know what? It's their entire ethos, where it's this bravado that we make something better than everybody else.
I know.
Instead of just saying, listen, we make the whiskey we like to make, and you know what? Everybody else makes good whiskey too, but we prefer ours. People can respect that statement. But when I asked them a question and I asked if they were going to explore any of the heirloom varieties of corn that are out there, and the lady on the tour said, fuck that,
Oh,
We make our whiskey the way we make it. If y'all don't like it, you can just go, And I was like, okay.
give me just
Yeah.
a second. I got to walk.
Yeah. And that right there showed me that they don't really give a shit about making good whiskey. They only care about making money. So our stuff. That's I will have to agree. I will have to agree with that, Dustin, 100%. I couldn't even believe that, like she said, I think she was even, uh, uh, she was taken aback by the fact that I would even ask a question like that. And, they don't want us as customers. They want followers. They don't want thinkers, So I own one bottle of Garrison's, and it was only because it was a Texas Whiskey Trail bottle, and it's not the greatest thing in the world. And I would much rather have a $30 bottle of Iron Root Esoteric. Yeah, I'll agree with that, and I think most of it comes down to the fact that they spend too much money on those tiny ass barrels. So,
Yeah.
But hey, man, if somebody likes it, they can go spend their money on.
Yeah.
They can go spend their money on whatever they want to, but I will choose to not support somebody that is still butthurt that Chip Tate beat his ass to market and was actually the first Texas whiskey on the market, legal Texas whiskey on the market. So.
Yeah, and like Dustin's on point with that, right? So, anybody that wants to sit there and be like, if you have gotten to the point that you're not able to identify your palate and like identify the fact that things have similarities, you are just a pompous prick. You're just simply a dick, that has, I completely disagree. Like, I can find a lot of things that have similarities. There's things that don't taste the same. There's things that do. And I love the idea of, like, I had someone say something to me about the day that I did like a Scotch blend. And they're like, why did you do that? You're bourbon Italian. I was like, listen, bourbon Italian doesn't mean that I'm only bourbon. It just means that that's where I refocused my energy. I'm not changing my LLC just because you don't like that I said something. And so F off.
Yeah, that's the way, and I felt bad because I was like, man, it's like it's a cool setup that Garrison has out there, but if it all fails, he owes his mother-in-law a whole shit ton of money.
Yeah. So I will say though, Zach, I can't even thank you enough for jumping on, but I'm supposed to be leaving at 3 a.m. to drive.
Hey, man.
South Carolina for the week. So I will say this, right? So Whiskey Weekend at Shane Long's is going to have a live stream. You're going to probably want to tune into that. It's going to be an absolute shit show. If you aren't,
hold on. I will only show up.
Yeah.
If Daniel gets a damn web camera and shows up.
So you're not showing up.
No, man. Listen, dude. Listen. Amazon ships really quickly. He can make it happen. It's whether or not But I'm giving Daniel shit. Actually, his weekend is his busy time. This Tuesday, Wednesday is kind of his Friday and Saturday nights.
I don't know which day is the stream. I think it's probably Friday. But we're going to be down there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Some of us are. Some of us are team players that are actually going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Some people are just showing up to do like
one day.
Yeah, that's not me. And that, listen, I'm just talking shit, right? Everybody
I know.
that's coming is making a sacrifice to come, right? Because let's be honest, if you're taking time off to go somewhere, it's not easy. So, but I'm going to jump off here.
Hey, most definitely, it was a pleasure catching up, man. It's always fun to
so
poke a stick at Daniel, especially when there's two of us.
Definitely.
And it's always fun to talk to you, buddy.
Kevin Smalls, hold on. Kevin Smalls, new to Whiskey Tube. Which channel is going to be on? I'm still on. I assume Livewire at Bourbon Tire. Dustin, really, I love talking like we did tonight, right? I wish more people jumped on because I like the idea. I'm not like listen, if you're looking for a virtual pub, it has to be Livewire. Go to Livewire because it's a whole different world.
Oh, come on. What about our buddy? What about our buddy from down under? Come on, man.
Well, Ken,
you can't listen. What other drunken mutton pub can you show up at 8:00 in the morning our time? There's only one.
Well, I don't disagree, right? I'm just saying that like in the States.
Oh, I know.
Looking for someone in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Ken knows I'm a Ken guy. He literally got me through the COVID vaccine number 2. Right, I did 8 hours with him before the vaccine kicked in, and they're like, "I gotta go. Bad things are happening." And Ken knows I love him. I told him to crack his bottle of Redwood Empire, Lost Monarch, because you're probably gonna be okay with it. And we sat and drank it, right? So Ken knows I love him. I'll always support him. But Livewire is like a fun hangout, right? Ken's usually on it.
That's awesome. Dustin, you do that, man. Let me know as long as it's not during close. I might do the same, man.
Well, Dustin, if I know ahead of time, I'll do it with you. I'll do it with you. We'll just get smashed. All right, Zach, thanks so much, bud. I appreciate you.
Cheers, brother. It was a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Repeated journey because I really think I will like it.
Listen.
We'll, I think I will like it.
We'll get you set up. I know. I've got 1 or 2 things in there that you might like.
Cold peated, but the people that told me they sent me stuff,
man. I mean,
a long time ago, and I don't think I'll ever see it.
We'll get you something.
All right. Well, cheers, everybody. Thanks for staying this long. I never anticipated going this long, but I will never stop just because I have a time limit. I just enjoy this. So hopefully you do this blend. I recommend doing both steps of it, right? So we had Jack Daniel's single barrel rye store pick at 2 parts, and then we did an Angel's Envy rye at 1 and a Wild Turkey Rare Breed 1. We also did a Jack Daniel's 2-part, a Wild Turkey Rare Breed 2-part, and an Angel's Envy 1-part, which was better. Ultimately, to me, the best was a Jack Daniel's 2-part, Wild Turkey 2-part, Angel's Envy 1-part, and Pikesville 1-part.
1-part.
And it absolutely crushed the rest of them. So it was delicious. Hope you liked it. I haven't done a Blendsday in a while. It's my favorite thing to do, but not everybody really understands it, appreciates it, or enjoys it. Starting next Wednesday, I'm going to do the Booker's Battalion Hump. I started with 12 different Bookers. It's going to move up to 14 different Bookers. And it's just starting with the youngest. My Patreon said, hey, we want to see youngest to oldest. So we're going to start with my oldest to youngest. So my oldest one's first. My first 4 will be oldest, and we'll move up the chain. And just tasting, profiling, and ranking. And just figuring out what we like. So Kevin Smalls and some of the new guys in here, I appreciate you jumping on. I hope you like and understand what I'm doing. I'm not a profiteer on this channel. That's not my overall focus. It's just information on what do I like, why do I like it, what do you like and helping you to understand why you like it and how you can make something better. Doesn't mean what you had is bad. I've had so much hate mail on that.
Hey, and sometimes you can take cheaper stuff and make it taste better than more expensive stuff.
Dude, I had Richie Z drinking my Dickel blend for like 5 episodes until he ran out. So I'm just saying it can happen. So thanks again, Zach. Thanks.
Hey, Bobby, have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, cheers, everybody. Love you all. Be good to the people that are good to you, and be a person that someone wants to be good to. Until the next time, Battalion out. Cheers, everybody.